Hello, everybody, and welcome to MTU Esports. Today, our Huskies League of Legends team is taking on the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, in the Playfly League. My name is Aiden Skronsky.
And I'm John Jernigan.
And we're going to be your casters for today.
Mm-hmm.
So, up on the docket this week with our schedule, we've had Thursday's Valorant team taking on Columbia College in a disappointing 2-0 loss, which was followed up by another 2-0 against our Super Smash Bros. Team versus Syracuse University. However, not to leave the Michigan Tech team behind, we did manage to squeak out a 2-0 against Wisconsin Eau Claire on Saturday.
Yeah. And today is our League of Legends match, of course, against University of North Chapel. And on Tuesday, we got a Rocket League match versus University of St. Thomas. I'm looking really forward to that.
Yeah.
Seeing the new team play. And on Wednesday, we got an Overwatch 2 match versus Kennesaw State University.
Always a pleasure to watch them play. Very high level. Going on, other than just the games today, we have a couple things coming up for Michigan Technological University students in particular. Tomorrow, Tuesday, is career fair, so if you don't have your resume prepared or printed out, make sure you do that. Make sure you also stop by the printing center to get your name tags before career fair starts.
I went on Friday. That was nice.
Yeah.
No line.
Yeah, there's going to be a big line tomorrow. I still got to get mine, but
Oof.
Just a couple minutes here, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the actual match, getting everything set up down below as teams get coordinated and we get ready for our picks and bans. It's my first time casting League of Legends, so hopefully we'll have a decent stream prepared for all of you.
Yeah. I heard you're very knowledgeable at League of Legends. So.
Yes, we're lucky to have good people on our League of Legends team. I got taught in a couple hours. Hopefully, the basic information I'll need to know to provide an adequate play-by-play. But we're gonna leave the in-depth analysis to the tactical mind over here on my right.
Oh yeah, the resident gold League of Legends player that locks in the easiest character in the game, per se.
Yeah.
Yasuo.
Yeah.
I don't see him much in pro play though, sadly.
Unfortunate, but kind of like the Reina of Valorant. Just
yeah, basically.
Obviously, you're hard carrying your team when it comes to the more
it's either your
strategic side.
It's either you're hard throwing or you're absolutely carrying with that character.
I know that you're always carrying. Right? No
Nope.
throws in sight here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Just getting ready here before we hop into the game. Is there anything that you're looking to see today out of our Valorant team or our League of Legends team?
Yeah, I'm looking for a masterclass support gameplay from Erica or Crayon. I've queued with her a couple times, and I usually see her in the top lane, but seeing her in the support role gets me very interested. Played a couple bot lane games with her. She carried me.
Yeah.
I'm also excited for Nugtart or Brandon.
That's my goat.
To play some jungle. Last year he was top lane, which has been replaced by Craftinator this year. They did a nice little role swap. I'm excited to see how he does in the jungle.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be interesting. When I was talking with Brandon last week, actually, about his league gameplay, he was giving me some pretty in-depth tutorials about what to do in the top lane. So it'll be interesting to see how that translates over to playing around in the jungle. Maybe see some team fights as he comes to assist Craftinator in the top lane, back to his old stomping grounds. But should begin right into the action in a couple minutes here. Any agents or champions in particular that you're looking for?
I want to see Yasuo played, but that's very biased to me.
Yeah.
But I want to see a very dive heavy comp, like dive them towers, get all the kills, build up that big money lead.
Yeah.
Maybe get a 2-0. I'd like to see that.
2-0 would be nice. MT was known for those team fights after all, so.
How about those Valorant team fights?
Those Valorant team fights you were watching?
Oh yeah, I was watching.
Oh,
I wasn't playing.
Yeah, you definitely weren't playing last Thursday. That was unfortunate, but sometimes got to give a win over to not appear too overconfident.
Yep. Yeah, we got kind of rolled, but I think we're gonna come back stronger next week. Well, this week actually.
We'll have 3 weeks of playing together under our belt now instead of 2. So 50% more. That's what you can expect out of us. Yeah. Get more than 7 rounds.
More than 7 rounds.
Yeah. Total.
Got 6. Disappointing.
Unfortunate. Luckily, though, we got a league team that can provide a better showcase of what our esports program is capable of than the Valorant team. So, should be looking pretty good here. I'm excited for this to get underway. Do you know anything about UNCCH?
All I know is they got some long usernames.
Yeah, so we're gonna be abbreviating a little bit here when we get into the player selection and the player introductions, but should be not too tough for our MTU team.
I go through them. I think we should go through them here.
All right.
So we got Justin or JJ the local nerd. So that's a little too long for me. I'm gonna abbreviate that one to JJ. Got Brian or Coffee is my life. We're just gonna call him Coffee. Got Raymond with cooked rice as username. I love rice.
Not surprising.
And we got Adarsh with Echoing Bloom. And we got Cindy with Eye Candy.
They're going to be facing off against our 5 players from the MTU team. So, in the top lane, we have Griffin, known as Music Tabs. We have Craftinator in the bottom lane. In the mid lane, we're going to have Echo going as Sunless. In the jungle, Brandon, my goat, Nugtart, is going to be fighting for those minions. And as support, as we mentioned earlier, we have Erica going by Cran in-game. So, a lot less of a mouthful for us to be pronouncing here.
Oh, yeah. I just noticed like Echo are sunless
Yeah.
Echo, and they have echoing bloom from a Darsh.
Oh,
Kind of a resemblance there.
yeah, some connections that we've
Maybe they know
made
each
on a
other.
whim. Obviously, I'll have my money on our Echo though,
Yeah,
because I've seen what he can do, and I would not want to be on the.
yeah. They've been in the lab. They've been grinding real hard for this year, and ever since their tough loss at the tournament last year,
Yeah.
I've been seeing some hard effort from them, and I'm hoping to see a good payoff this week.
Yeah. Who do you think of our players is most likely to get a penta today?
I'm thinking Brandon or Nugtart is going to get that penta kill today.
Yeah, he feels like maybe joining on one of those team fights and she just turns into Faker
Oh,
for,
yeah.
for a couple of minutes there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, he always plays like him, but just showing Faker with the next evolution in his gameplay could potentially be.
I heard he also benches 405.
Yeah,
So
so he's a
jack of all trades.
opponent on and off the desktop.
The menace on and off the desktop, you could say.
Yeah, put me to shame in the lifting. But should just be a brief moment here before we get into the map pick and bans. Looks like the different players in each of the teams are starting to join into the lobby together, which means that we should be seeing champion selects coming in pretty soon. Hopefully not too much longer for you folks. Anything else interesting happening on campus that you feel like we should bring up? Besides the Valorant game next Thursday, of course, most important event
Yeah,
this year.
we had some homecoming. We had homecoming for
That is true. We
MT
did have
last week.
homecoming.
Did you do anything for homecoming?
Nah, you know me. Yes, that scares me. I have to walk across the grass in order to get up to the homecoming location, so I decided that it wasn't in my best interest to go out there. But luckily, confined within these sterile walls, I can talk about what I am good at, and that is video games.
Yeah.
So,
Never heard of video games before.
cringe interaction with other people. What about you? Anything you've done recently?
I was sick recently, so I missed a couple days of class.
Unfortunate.
Not enough to get an excused absence.
Those are hard to come by.
Yeah.
How you been liking the East Hall? Have you checked out the dorms yet?
I have not checked them out yet. I really want to, but I usually go out late at night, so
Yeah.
usually they're locked.
Locked and
Locked.
closed.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. I do live in East Hall myself, and I would say that is one of the best investments that we have made as a team since then. Looks like we're going to be getting into the picks for champions here, pick and ban. So it looks like NC Chapel Hill is going to start off by banning Rel, which Michigan Technological University is going to respond by banning Talon.
And then we got a nice NC Chapel Hill Lucian ban. So they're trying to cancel out the dive comp here. And we'll probably see something to a jungle ban probably from Chapel Hill coming up next. And then Michigan Tech will probably throw out Pantheon. Oh.
Pantheon.
So they're trying to cancel out the strong early game. Pantheon and Talon are very strong early game jungle characters.
Yeah, so like they're scared of NC Chapel Hill's ability to join together for those early team fights before players can level up and get in position with items. But it's like Riven and Ornn gonna be banned on each side here. What does that mean?
Ornn is a big team fight tank. Lots of crowd control, which is taking people out of the fight, keeping them locked and keyed, stunned.
Yeah, keeping them locked
stuff.
down.
Yep. And Riven, it's just a very strong brawler in lane. Can really combat the dive and also can dive really well herself.
Yeah, so NC Chapel Hill looking like a big dive team here. Obviously, Michigan Tech going to be trying to counterpick that, prevent them from getting in spots where they're caught unaware and unable to respond. Like the first pick is going to be coming in for NC Chapel Hill. It's going to be Zinshao, followed up by Trundle for Michigan Tech.
Interesting pick because Zinzao recently got a visual rework. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Trundle is very good into Zinzao because Zinzao does not build many resistances, so it's just base health. Trundle is able to shred through that health very fast.
Yes.
And those are two jungle picks. It could also be a top pick for Michigan Tech on the Trundle, but Trundle's very strong in the jungle right now.
Yeah, pretty good at farming up and getting that early game
Interesting. We got the Nautilus support pick. Could also be Nautilus jungle, but
yeah.
Nautilus support, and we got a Sivir bot lane pick to combat the CC from Michigan Tech's Trundle and Nautilus.
Going for a little bit of counter pick instead of potentially applying the strengths there, but
Mhm.
Chapel Hill potentially worried about Michigan Tech could get online if they get together for some of those team fights and
Oh,
go
yeah.
for some early dives.
Sivers very strong in those team fights because she has the ability to block CC abilities or stuns, keep her in the fight longer. Looks like they're picking Mbessa here to combat the dive and be more strong in lane. Uh, Chapel Hill looks like to be doing a more scaling comp to be stronger in the late game. And it looks like Michigan Tech right now is starting to build towards a very early game team fight build. Try to come together pretty early.
Yeah, so Michigan Tech we might see as we get into the game here some of that early game aggression coming in, trying to capitalize on the strengths of their characters before Chapel Hill can get those late game items and abilities rolling. Like Scion is going to be picked for Michigan Tech.
Great pick into Mbessa. Mbessa doesn't have much uh, tank shred, which Scion is a very scaly tank, builds health and resistances, and Mbessa does not have that much damage into that. No max health shred, no.
Yeah, going to be hard to whittle that down. Didn't potential Scion potentially with enough HP to prevent the use of potentially a flash to escape fights or things like that. So
Yeah.
a good counter pick coming out from Michigan Tech, knowing exactly what the strengths and weaknesses are going to be. We're going to get bands of Hui and Victor coming in from each side
Yes.
respectively, and then Michigan Tech going to be banning Syndra with NC Chapel Hill following up with the final ban of this map, which is going to be Corky.
Okay. We got 3 mid lane, possibly 4 mid lane bans. Uh, those all 4 of them are very scaly champions. Michigan Tech does pick Avaris, which is very great pick into this team. Oh, they may pick Jinx.
Change to a Jinx.
Ooh, he's very scaly as well. Great in
Yeah.
team fights for ramping attack speed when she gets a takedown. He's very strong, especially into that team.
Yeah, Michigan Tech potentially recognizing how late game of a build that Chapel Hill is going for and deciding to not go solely for that early game aggression and pick into some characters that are going to allow them to combat that late game aggression. Chapel Hill, who is going to be picking Rise as their fourth.
Yeah, Rise, very strong late game character. Once he gets around 3 or 4 magic items. Oh, they're going to pick a Braum support instead and
Yeah,
hold off
changing
on
that
that
up.
Rise pick. Braum is a very strong support, blocks damage, really good counter to Jinx, who's very attack heavy,
Yeah.
and Braum has a shield that blocks damage and mitigates that away.
Yeah, looks like there's going to be the Rise coming in as the
Yeah.
fifth pick.
Oh, maybe
Ooh,
it's
change to a Silas. Potentially deciding not to go with that Rise.
interesting pick because Silas is a very early game brawler, and since they kind of stance themselves towards a late game build, it's interesting for them to go Silas for that early potential. But he's also very good late game because he's able to steal the other team's Michigan Tech's ultimates away from them and use them to his advantage, which is counterpicked by the Galio. Galio is a very strong magic tank. He kind of counters Silas, so it's going to be an interesting lane to see.
Yeah, interesting to see right at the end there, Chapel Hill pivoting away from that fully late game build that they were going for, potentially worried about Michigan Tech's ability to get a lot of these early items online and have that early stopping power, potentially being able to overwhelm and take a turret or two near the start of the game before potentially Chapel Hill would be expecting it to come through, opting into not just that completely late game ramping, but Michigan Tech also recognizing the weakness that they could potentially have with those geared towards that early game ramp up, picking into the Jinx and Galio as we go off the end there to have some of that sustained DPS and abilities throughout the entire match.
Totally. Totally agree that we might see some early fighting down in the bot lane. But Sivir does rely on a lot of farm, get the
Yeah.
one to two, maybe 3 items before being able to be like a full character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But with Xin Zhao and Trundle being around, I think there's gonna be a lot of ganks, a lot of fighting for priority in the bot lane.
Yeah, we'll have to see what kind of early aggression Michigan Tech is going to go for. If they just want to play it safe, farm up a couple items, get their character levels up, or if they want to take advantage of the fact that some of those characters on Chapel Hill do need to get those couple of items online before they can be fully viable. So we'll have to see what they end up going for. We should be getting to the game very shortly here for you guys. Looks like our different players are picking their characters in the game now. So should just be a minute or two before we get into the action. Looking forward to this one.
Who do you think's gonna come and be the best of the Michigan Tech team?
I think it's going to be Brandon. I
Oh, yeah?
think that he is so well versed in the game. If you look at his past ranked game, going 11-1, the
That's
most
true.
recent ranked game that he plays. So kind of defining the word hard carry. They're
Okay.
obviously not going to be carrying the entire team here, given that everybody is pretty well versed in how to play League of Legends on Michigan Tech.
Oh
But
yeah.
going to be demonstrating a lot of that knowledge, I think, in the jungle there, because that is a very important position. Not being on the back end of farming in the jungle is going to take away your ability to go for a lot of those team fights, those 2v1s in the bottom and top lanes. So hopefully we'll see some good performances out of him. But based on everything we've seen so far and the games they've played during the off season on their rank tracker and everything, it should hopefully be no big deal for him.
Yeah, totally.
We're waiting to get into the action here. We just want to remind you all to subscribe, whether you're on Twitch, to drop a follow or subscribe to the YouTube channel and potentially like the live stream here. Always helps with our outreach and reminds you whenever we go live so you can watch those Rocket League, Valorant, whatever games are going to be coming up later in this week. Here, looks like they've got 5 of the 10 agents locked in. The official pick and ban here going on in the in-game client. So should hopefully just be another minute before we're all ready and in. Very excited to get into the action here.
Who do you think your favorite character is on the screen?
On the screen,
Yeah.
based on just since I don't really know a lot of the champions, based on pictures alone, it'd probably have to be Civ. Uh, some technical difficulties there, folks, with some audio issues. Should hopefully have it all resolved by now. As we said previously, we're about to get back into the game. Looks like all 10 champions are now locked in the in-game client, and so we have just 15 seconds here while they finish up preparing their loadouts before we get into the actual gameplay. So, any builds you think Tech's going to be going for with these champion picks? Anything that's particularly strong in the meta right now? We all know how Riot likes to meddle with previously established strategies.
Oh yeah.
Never leave their fingers off what's good and what's not, but that's
Yeah.
good for the health of the game, I suppose.
So looking at like Chapel Hill's team, Silas usually could go Conqueror or Electrocute. Conqueror keeps him sustained in lane, alive longer. Electrocute gives him an early, strong build, makes him able to fight early, be strong.
Is that extra damage on every third hit?
Extra damage every third hit. Gives his combos an extra kick to it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of a Conqueror build here for Silas, because on the other team it doesn't look like he can really burst or damage and kill people in one combo. So he might go for the long
Going for
road.
the sustained fights. Don't want to be in a team fight with somebody with Conqueror for too long, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what Nautilus is going to build as a support. Could go full tank, or could play support and support Jinx on just surviving those team fights, and especially because this Chapel Hill team is dive heavy.
Yeah, very dive heavy.
They will be running after Jinx, not walking.
Yeah, they're going to be doing everything in their power to take her out of that fight because they know that every second that she's alive and doing DPS is going to be even harder to break through.
Totally.
So that's potentially where we'll see some of the picks from NC coming in, just with that ability to chase, run down, and finish off the Jinx character before she gets too much going. But we should see some counterplay for that coming up from MTU as well. Scion to tank there, and like we said, Nautilus potentially able to go for that full team help build to keep Jinx alive for as long as possible so that she can be utilized to her full potential by MTU.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see the meme build of Scion going full lethality, full damage. Watching it, him 100 health to 0 health, somebody in one ability is very nice to watch.
Yeah, some trade-offs there. You lose some of that tank ability, but certainly would be something to see from Michigan Tech. That would be a pretty cool moment that I don't think NC Chapel Hill would be expecting, at least the first time around. So,
Totally.
spectator delay of 1:10 here. About to get into the action, so just hold on tight for that. While we wait, we can read you some of our university sponsors that make all of this around us possible and allow our esports team to play to our fullest potential, which I guess hopefully we'll see Valorant taking advantage of in the coming weeks. First of all, we have Broadway Enterprises. So, are you a tech student? Do you need to be close to campus for your classes? I know that I certainly do with my aversion to going outside. We have places for that. Find your perfect location and live where you want to live at houghtonforrent.com. Certainly something I'm going to have to be looking into here as my ability to stay in these dorms comes to an end at the end of my second year here, so going to be taking advantage of that service, certainly. For all first or second years out there that are looking to not live on campus next year, make sure you get on your apartment booking early. They do fill up, and you will not have that many options if you put it aside, so make sure to get on that, like I said, pretty early. And thank you again to Houghton for Rent for sponsoring our stream here and our program and for providing such a great service to our community. It's like a spectator delay of 2 seconds, 1 second, and we should be getting into the game in a brief moment here, waiting for this first match to be coming in.
I'm very excited to see this match. How much League have you played?
How much League have I played?
Yeah.
So I was actually champion for 3 seasons in a row
Oh.
in not League of Legends. I've never played League of Legends, but like I said earlier on, we have great people on our Valorant team who have sat down with me, or on our League team that have sat down with me to explain to me the basics and get me some of that knowledge so that I can hopefully provide a good cast for all of you out there today.
Excellent. I'm waiting to hear about your League expertise.
My
in this
League
match
expertise.
during this competition.
That character just shot an ability at that character.
Oh, I love it.
What a moment. Getting to the action here, we're going to be following Coffee is My Life from UNC Chapel Hill as they head over into that, looks like they're going to be in the jungle.
Yeah, they're currently posturing themselves to keep eye out for early invades. Looks like Galio and Silas are going to be staying in lane together. Doesn't look like any early invades are coming in here.
Yeah, Michigan Tech choosing not to take advantage of that super early team pressure that their build could provide before Chapel Hill gets those things up and rolling here. Just choosing to play out the game normally and wait for some of these minions spawn. We see the last moment of amicability between the both teams there in that mid lane before the actual fight will begin for this first map of League of Legends.
Looks like they're all dancing with each other right now.
Yeah, 15 seconds till minions will be spawning in here and we get this action underway. For those of you unfamiliar with the game, if we have any parents watching at home, you can see the minions coming out there, starting to come into the lane. That is going to be the primary source of leveling up for our different agents here. They're going to be going for and attacking the towers, the different players in their respective lanes. You got to be close to those minions when they go down in order to get XP to level up your character and get access to those stat buffs that are going to be coming on later as we get into some higher levels here.
An early trade going on for the first 3 minions of the game for the mid lane.
Looks like some early fighting here in the mid game.
Yeah. Looks like Galio went Aftershock, which gives him more tankiness, makes him live longer and better. And looks like Silas did go the Conqueror, and so he is looking to live a bit longer and have more damage throughout the game.
Yeah, both Sunless and the opponent in the mid lane taking a decent amount of damage. They're both backing off to make sure they don't overextend and go down, but we're also going to be the same fight, looks like, happening up here in the top lane with Michigan Technological University with a slight health lead as opposed to Kaga Feet coming in here.
Interesting username.
Yeah, that is definitely different than what is on the document,
Yeah,
but
I would say it's
doesn't
a bit
really matter what they're called. They're getting diffed by MT right now, so
That's true.
hopefully we'll see that continue here. More minions alive for UC Chapel Hill in the top lane here, though, so that's going to be something that Michigan Tech's going to have to deal with in these couple seconds up here. Going in for the fight here, Michigan Tech losing that health lead, going to be actually going down underneath Kaga Feet. Age Feet, hard to see from this distance. Michigan Tech going to be getting that level 3 up, however. Both of our mid lane players still just deciding to hold off, farm up those minions for now, making sure that the opponent doesn't stay at full health, but not going to be overextending as we said previously. However, Sunless actually going in for a fight on Zeka here. He's going to be brought down to 2 bars, 1 bar. This is a big team fight here. Both players at a sliver of HP, and it is going to be Michigan Technological University with the first death on the board. That is going to set them back, hopefully not too much, but going to lose out on some of that early game XP as minions go down there. An unfortunate play coming out from Michigan Tech, potentially overextending just a little bit, but luckily we're still in the early game. Respawn timer is not going to be too long, going to be back on our feet pretty quickly.
Looks like Trundle here is looking for a gank here.
Yeah.
And, a counter gank coming in from Xin Zhao. I don't think they know.
3v3. I don't know if Michigan Tech wants to commit to this. Still half HP on Craftinator.
Xin Zhao came on through vision, so they are going to fall off. But Nugtart is going to have priority positioning for that Scuttle Crab, which gives an extra buff / vision to that river, which is very important for the bot lane and top lane to know where the other team's jungler is going to be in that river.
Yeah, for those unfamiliar with it, in League, you have the ability to place down what are called wards else on the map. So what you see right now, you can see the entire map illuminated. However, for the different players in the game, they're not going to be able to see what's obscured behind those cover. And so if there's a rock wall blocking your way, you're not going to be able to see what's behind it. And so the ability to place down wards will give you a detection and an alert if somebody decides to step over one of those wards, which gives you early game information on whether or not you're going to be attacked or not. And the Scuttle Crab basically acts as another one of those wards, so just giving your team the advantage by giving you vision and information somewhere else on the map. 2v2 going on here in the bottom lane. Looks like Craftinator and Cran both going to be taking on Coffee's My Life and Dumpling. Low health from Michigan Technological University, but Dumpling going to be backing off after taking some of that damage coming out from Cran. A great response. Both Michigan Tech and UC Chapel Hill going to be getting the level up here, so all 4th level here in the bottom lane. A little bit of healing coming in for Crane, but Craftinator not wanting to overextend too much, given that they are just barely over a sliver of health.
Yeah, it's not a very good trade, especially with the minions right under their tower, so if they do lose this fight and they die, they will lose a lot of XP and money from these minions that are going to crash under their tower.
Yeah, UC Chapel here, you can see they're probing. They want to take down these minions and they want to do this damage to MTU, but they're not healthy either, and so they don't want to overextend and potentially give Michigan Tech the lead here by offering themselves up as a sacrifice. It's like the first dragon is going to be spawning in. We'll have to see what kind of Drake that is spawned. Neither team opting to go for a full capture with the entire team here yet. Still a fight going on in the mid lane. Looks like Sunless getting back. We can see here still going to be at level 5, and with the amount of XP there, not really going to be at that much of a disadvantage.
Not a very good trade for our Sunless there.
Yeah, he's going to be losing a lot of health. Looks like Michigan Tech. Ooh, Craftinator actually going to be slaying Coffee Is My Life. And it's going to be a double for Craftinator coming down in the bottom lane here with Dumpling. That's going to be a lot of XP that UC Chapel Hill is going to be losing out on with those minions, and potentially the ability for Michigan Tech to extend and take some of that plating off one of those turrets as well.
I think the Michigan Tech is going to be going for the dragon here. They get extra priority, and they don't have to worry about their bot laners coming and fighting them on that dragon while they take it.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to be actually going for that dragon here. So that's going to be Craftinator, Cran, and Nugtart all gearing up for a 3-person on the dragon. It doesn't look like there's going to be any UC Chapel Hill members in sight, so no opportunity for a steal here. And that is going to give Michigan Technological University the Ocean Drake.
Sweet. Gives them an extra tanky buff. I think it's like extra health and health regen. And looks like we're putting a control ward, or a pink ward is what they would call it, and it exposes the other team's vision if it's in that bush. For example, that bush they put it in, there was a ward of the other teams in there.
Yeah, they were able to get seen because of that.
Yep, and they were able to take it for an extra money and to get rid of their vision.
Yeah, so the Ocean Drake buff is going to give Michigan Technological University extra mana regen and extra health regen when out of combat. So when they're in those big brawls, you're not going to see it really coming in, but when both teams decide to take a step back and reset, Michigan Tech is going to be able to reset faster now because they do have that buff. Like a bit of a fight going on in the top lane here between Music Tabs and Kage Feet. Like Michigan Tech not really getting a lot out of this fight yet. However, the stun on Kaga is going to be pretty good. Kaga having the health advantage, but still deciding to actually back off, not wanting to overcommit too much of that fight. Not wanting to follow up on the back lane. Yes, a gank coming in here from Nugtart.
The public execution coming in for the ult of Mbessa. A missed flash from Mbessa. That's a big blunder. That will be on cooldown for another 5 minutes. And it looks like UNC is going for Grub's Prio. Looks like they're going to have to back off because they lost their Mbessa, which is very, very, very bad for UNC, but very good for MTU. and which
Yeah.
we like that.
Yeah, we do
We
like
a
that.
lot. Looks like Nautilus and Baram made a roam up top to get that priority. So, and it looks like in the bottom lane right now, Jinx has slammed Sivir underneath the towers.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty big fight coming in there. It's like Michigan Tech going to be taking the Void Grubs.
Oh, yeah.
Is going to be decently important when it comes to fighting over these towers. The Void Grubs can give some buffs to your team, so always a good thing that you want to go for. Sometimes it can be dangerous to be the team that full fights over them because you give the other team the ability to go for potentially fights on your towers, but given the disarray that UC Chapel Hill had been in, which seems to be continuing, as the bottom lane just gets worse and worse for UC Chapel. It's going to be double kill coming out of Jinx here.
Well played.
Going to be putting UC Chapel Hill once again on the back foot. They cannot catch a break in that bottom hill, or in the bottom lane there.
Yeah, that was very well played by Craftinator there. He perfectly played that. Spaced his abilities really nice. And great peel from our Nautilus there.
Completely locking down UC Chapel Hill in that bottom lane, just giving them no opportunity to be able to come out and take any advantage. Looks like it's going to be a channel back to base here coming from one of the Michigan Tech players. Going back. Still not a lot of action in our mid lane. Haven't seen a lot of huge fights here. Both teams are evenly matched from what we can see. Both going to be at level 8. For those unfamiliar with the game, again, you're going to see as these characters get higher in level, they're going to get more ticks on their health bar, which is going to be representative of more health so they can withstand more damage taken, as well as some other passive buffs that are dependent on characters. And I'm sure John could spend a couple hours talking about, but we won't bore you with those details right now.
And it looks like Craftinator finished his first item. This will give him a huge lead, especially because this item in particular is a scaling item. So the longer he holds on to that item, the more max potential it is, and getting it really early will help him max it out really, really well.
What item in particular did he grab?
He grabbed the Yunta Wild Arrows.
And what does that do?
So it gives a huge buff to attack damage and attack speed, but its hidden passive allows you to build up crit, and crit it enhances the damage that you do to the opponent, and since it's an all-in-one ability, so it gives attack speed, and critical. Most items don't do that, and it's a very scaling item because you have to hit people in order to build up this critical damage.
Yeah, Michigan Tech going into that scaling item, potentially looking for ways that they can counterplay the late game aggression and scaling that Chapel Hill is going to have out of their Asian picks, going to some items that they can get online early to compensate for some of that potential weaker late game coming out of some of their champions. Not too much action going on right here. We're going to see Craftinator and Cran still going around the bottom lane and your support, both still fighting. Dumpling and coffee is my life from UC Chapel Hill.
Looks like Drake is spawning in about 10 seconds here, and wondering who's going to make the first move. It looks like Michigan Tech's going to make the first move onto the Silas. Pushes him back so our Galio can push out the lane. Looks like the other UNC's jungler is going to make his way down to the bot side, but he's going to clear his camps first.
Yeah, making sure he gets that XP online, potentially gearing up for a fight here, depending on if both teams want to contest the Drake that is going to be spawning here. Looks like, is that going to be a Fire Drake?
It is an Infernal Drake,
Infernal
yes.
Drake, yes. It's like both teams, Michigan Tech going in for the initial damage, but UC Chapel Hill, all 4 of them grouping up, potentially trying to come for a steal on this one, but it is going to be Michigan Tech getting it, but this is a big team fight here. Craftinator getting locked down at the top, Cran going to be taken down by UC Chapel Hill, but going to be fighting back as this 2v2 now comes in with another third coming from UC Chapel Hill. Krispy Kreme, all people low right now. Looks like Michigan Tech is going to be looking for just a way to escape. Nugtar looks like they're going to have to be wasting their flash there to be able to escape without losing any more abilities. Michigan Tech now going to be channeling back. Potentially not a great team fight, but they are going to be walking away with the Infernal Drake, so not everything is going to be bad for them.
Yeah, it was a decent play. I would say maybe it was not the best because, of course, Craftinator had a shutdown. A shutdown or a bounty is increased amount of gold if they get killed, and that gives an extra money boost to whoever kills them. It was, of course, the jungler Krispy Kreme or Xin Zhao, and helps them get back in the game a bit more than on what they're behind. But this Drake, stacking Drakes, is really good for us.
Yeah, so the Infernal Drake seems to grant a team greater resistance to the effects of crowd control, as well as greater effectiveness when they receive healing or shielding effects. So potentially emboldening the ability that Erica's support is going to be able to provide there, putting a little bit more value into that character, is any passive buffs, especially that she can give to things like Jinx, are going to be more valuable here. So it looks like gold lead for MTU still sitting at about 800, 700, so a slight advantage, but nothing for UC Chapel Hill to be too worried about. We are going to be seeing a fight going on here in the bottom lane again. It's been where most of the action has been over this game. Michigan Technological University with the slight health advantage, making UC Chapel Hill back off to get some of that damage in return, not wanting to overextend too much. It is important to point out here that while both supports appear to be level 9 for Michigan Tech, or for each team, Michigan Tech's bottom lane is a level ahead, level 8 instead of the level 7 for Dumpling here, and so that is going to be a little bit of an advantage for Michigan Tech. So you see Chapel Hill not wanting to overextend too much, because potentially losing out on another ability or another time frame where they're unable to farm these minions could be incredibly dangerous, letting Michigan Technological University break away with that level lead here. Same thing in the top lane we're going to be seeing. Music Tab is going to be level 11, whereas Cage Feed only level 10.
Looks like the Rift Herald is going to be spawning in about 30 seconds here. The Rift Herald, of course, is like a giant crab almost that you can spawn in if you kill it. Oh, looks like Xin Zhao takes out Nugtart in an effort to get priority on this Rift Herald.
Yeah, that is going to be unfortunate for Michigan Tech. Going to be a lot harder now to contest that, given there's not still 15 seconds till Nug is going to be spawning in, and then he's going to have to make his way all the way back.
Yeah, this Rift Herald spawns in and charges at a tower that that one desires it to go to. And of course, in these newer patches, there's a thing called Feats of Warfare, and the Feats of Warfare include the first 3 kills.
Michigan Tech did get that first Feat of Warfare there.
Yes, they did. First tower, and if UNC gets this, it might be looks like
turret going down from red team here.
So that means they don't have to worry about that feat of warfare, which means they've gotten the feats of warfare, which means Michigan Tech will be getting this boots buff, which means they will be able to buy upgraded boots when they cash in their second item, which is an extra 500 gold, but gives a lot more stat boost than what the normal boots would give. Which boots you can buy as just an item to move faster, maybe tank more damage, maybe do more damage.
Yeah, an interesting, looks like, unfortunately, Music Lab is going to be getting ganked up here in the top lane. His jungler not going to be able to come and support.
Burns his flash.
They're going to be diving the tower, and that is going to be UC Chapel Hill coming up with a kill.
The flash used by Mbessa, though, that is.
Yeah.
I think this is pretty all right.
Yeah.
Looks like bot lane has moved up into the mid lane to farm and be into more of these team fights together.
Yeah.
Looks like Xin Zhao, or their jungler on UNC, has spawned in the Rift Herald, and they are going to take the top lane tier 1 tower.
Yeah, tier 1 turret going to be going down to let them walk up a little bit. That's going to be massive damage from the Rift Herald there, and that's tier 2 tower as well from Michigan Technological University. But Nugtart's going to be coming back, looks like, assisting his team in the bottom lane, or actually in the top lane here, so that is going to be a pretty big kill. For those unfamiliar with the game, the longer the game goes on, the longer the respawn timers are due to characters being more powerful, so it's not going to be another 20 seconds here until Cage Feud is going to be able to get back into this battle. So it looks like the Cloud Drake is going to be spawning in as our third and final type of Drake, which UNC is going to be instantly diving upon, not wanting to let Michigan Tech get 3 Drakes online this early into the game. Michigan Tech, however,
TP coming in from Scion. It looks like they want to contest this.
Yeah, they really want to contest this. It's going to be a huge 4v4 fight.
Scion ult coming in. Galio ult coming in.
Craftinator going to be taking down Krispy Kreme here as Michigan Tech appearing to be on top of these servers. But Coffee is My Life going to be fighting back, slaying Nugtar. Craftinator here getting chased by Zeka Wannabe, and Zeka Wannabe is going to get the kill on Craftinator. And now another 3v1 coming in for UC Chapel Hill on Music Tabs. Not really a way to get out of this fight, and he's going to be completely shut down.
Oh, I don't know about that team fight.
Yeah, that was a risky fight. Hesitating too long when it comes to really diving in there, allowing that control to be taken fully by UC Chapel Hill. I would have loved to see Michigan Tech recognizing when they're not going to have the advantage in that fight and backing off. But now four people going to be out of the fight for Michigan Tech, and Nugtart finally going to be spawning in, as well as Cran, leaving just Music Tabs going to be the only one still awaiting his entry into this field. But that was a bad fight for Michigan Tech. They completely lost the gold lead from that. They've gone from being 1K in advantage to being over 1K in deficit now.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the kill lead as well, retained for UNC here. Some of that late game aggression coming in as we get closer to that late game, I should add. Really the strength of UC Chapel Hill's build showing itself. Michigan Tech unable to dominate those early game team fights anymore. Michigan Tech going to be regrouping here. Craftinator, Cran, and Nugtart all going to be grouping around just under the mid lane here, potentially talking about what's gone wrong here. They still do have the those feats on their side. They still do have both the Infernal Drake and the Ocean Drake, but a lot less of an advantage here. Kind of a misplay with that massive team fight. It's going to be harder for them to get back on their feet here.
Looks like they're going to be resetting, just trying to farm back up, try to regain that gold lead, maybe look for a mistake or two on UNC side.
Yeah, they're not going to want to be going for any more massive fights here. It looks like Cage Feed is going to be getting ganked here by Nug and Music Tabs.
But a bad pole placement by Nugtart there,
Yeah,
which
gonna let him
allows them best to
escape.
get out.
Yeah, that's going to be unfortunate, potentially.
A missed opportunity there.
Yeah, missed opportunity there to capitalize on a mistake by Cage Feed with that overextend into two people.
But vision on on their enemy jungler, maybe, or maybe not.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to be.
They should have taken advantage of that.
Yeah. Come on. Got a 2v2 here. The Atacon has spawned at the bottom.
Gives big stat boost. It also gives extra true damage. True damage, of course, being it's damage that is ignores armor and magic resistance, which means for tanks they take more damage if they do get this buff. So that means Crayon and Music Tabs will be in big trouble if UNC gets this here.
All 5 Michigan Tech in that bottom lane now with one channeling. Sunless is actually going to cancel the channel. Looks like they want to go for a big team fight here. This is going to be a 5v5 if they do end up committing to it, which could potentially decide the entire game here if they get too far in the weeds. Looks like both teams, however, consent to just play on different sides of Atacon here, trading damage back and forth, waiting for each team to hopefully make a mistake so they can capitalize, push them off, and get that Atacon for themselves. Yeah. Michigan Tech going to be at the disadvantage when it comes to the health lead here.
Looks like the Scion has, not Scion, Silas is coming around the bottom side. He did steal Trundle's ultimate, which means he will do more damage, increased damage, and will shred armor and magic resistance from the tanks. And it looks like everyone is dispersing away from the Otacon right now because they are wasting, both of them are wasting time. Big team fight coming in.
Yeah, wait. Hold on.
Galio coming in. Xin Zhao coming in. Nugtart is chasing down.
He's chasing Krispy Kreme. That's going to be, that heal coming in, but he is going to finally take him down. However, Nugtart now going to be getting ganked by both Coffee's My Life and Dumpling, with the rest of the team coming in to subscribe. Coffee's My Life is going to take down Nug, but this is still a triple kill for Jinx coming out here. Ooh. Chapel Hill running, hopefully trying to avoid that quad or even potentially a penta. That's going to give Michigan Tech complete control over Atacon here. What happened there? Was that a mistake from UC Chapel Hill?
Yeah, it looked like the bot lane, Braum and Sivert chased after Nug after he killed the Xin Zhao, and the other team
over, and that's going to be an ace coming in for Galio here. What a play! That is going to be a massive blunder for UNC Chapel Hill.
That's Otacon secured for MPU.
Yeah, that's going to be a massive buff. It's hard to see here a way for Michigan Tech to at least let their advantage slip. They've regained that gold lead, now 1.2k in the lead, and UNC Chapel Hill going to be kind of staggering here, wondering where did they go wrong with that overcommitment to that team fight. It started off as what potentially could have been a good punish on Nugtart for walking in and, killing one of their members there, but Jinx just deciding that they're going to play their own game.
Yeah.
They're going to show why that this agent is so good when it comes to that damage.
In that team fighting.
Just completely shutting down UNC here. That is going to be a big play coming out. Michigan Tech still with that gold lead. Tower health not great for Michigan Tech on both those sides there, but they've got to be feeling pretty good after that fight.
Yeah.
Now that top lane, Kagafeet going to be engaging Sunless. Sunless going to be chasing after Kagafeet here. It's going to be a pretty good damage trade for both sides. Sunless is starting not to go for the overcommitment. Instead, Kagafeet just going to be farming up some of that minion XP.
Looks like Musitab is just having a nice little farm down in the bot lane right now.
Yeah,
turn on some Zen music and you can be meditating right now there.
Yeah, brain off, just taking down some of that minion XP. It looks like 3 members of UNC are going to be regrouping here around the mid lane. 4 of them. Are they grouping up for a team fight? What are they going for here? This is...
Right now, the Cloud Drake is up again. This is our 4th Drake of the game. 2 Drakes in favor of MTU. Looks like a punish on Braum. Braum flashes away. Galliowall coming in.
Pushing Michigan Tech. Like Dumpling going to be surviving here on a sliver of HP, but Michigan Tech wants to brawl. They want to go in for this. Cran's going to get the first kill on Zeka Wannabe, but UNC's coming in for the punish. Crispy's going to be slaying Cran, but a shutdown coming in from Abessa there onto Jinx, but Nugtart going to be going back on Crispy and Galio. Stunless on it, and Music Tab slaying Dumpling. This is once again a team fight, not going the way of UNC. Wondering where they went wrong. This is going to be an ace coming in for MTU, and they're going to be now full control over this Cloud Drake. UNC could just not get a handle on their team fights today, overextending. It starts off as honest intentions, wanting to punish Michigan Tech for their attacks on some of their members, but they're just unable to do that follow-up. Jinx, Galio, it doesn't matter which member you're picking from MTU, they all have the ability to completely shut down UNC in these team fights. Oh, yeah. Is it miscoordination, John? What do you think is going on for UNC here? Why are they unable to commit to these team fights and come out on top?
I think it's just Craftinator being so slippery. He's been able to control these team fights. It looks like UNC is just desperate to get to him. They used Mbessa ult and Zinzao ult to try to dive Jinx in that back line, and they just couldn't because of the peel of Crayon and Galio ult being so immense. And they punished the Braum, so the Braum couldn't give that CC and damage blocking that they needed in order to take out that Jinx.
Yeah, for in layman's terms that I can understand, basically what that stands there is, since Braum is a character that is supposed to be providing shielding and other passive buffs for UNC so that they can't be damaged by some of those abilities from MTU, MTU diving the Braum means that Braum is unable to focus on providing those buffs to his team, and so it leaves their entire team susceptible to getting hit by those things.
Baron Nashor is spawned in at 25 minutes. Nugtart looking on to Silas here. Great pull.
Yeah, it's going to be a gank coming in here.
Huge healing from Silas, but however, it's a 2v1.
Keeping him alive, and Nugtart is going to be getting that killing spree after that damage in the top lane there. It looks like a 3v2, a 3v3 now actually coming from Michigan Tech, wanting to punish their advantage, seeing that, you know, a shutdown here on the UNC could potentially give them the game.
Nautilus all coming in. Jinx shuts him down.
Craftinator going to be slaying Dumpling. It's going to be a 3v2. UNC running for their life. Coffee's life left on 2 bars. UNC having to decide here. Do they give... They decide to give up the turret?
Top tier 1 is gone for UNC. That's going to be Baron for MTU. They're going to have it.
Yeah, Michigan Tech going to be extremely happy with this, how these fights are going to be going, buff after buff. It really just seems here it's been these overcommitment on these fights by UNC, just giving MTU the ability to punish them and then go for these Barons. If I was UNC, I'd want to see a little bit less of this full commitment to these full team brawl scenarios, maybe a little bit more of pushing and prodding as MTU goes in for those buffs.
Definitely.
However, Michigan Tech potentially the ability to even change their playstyle off that, because Michigan Tech right now, they have a massive gold lead. They are over 5,000 ahead, so they have a lot more items on the board now than UNC is going to be able to. So in this situation, do you think that MTU would opt to really fight hard for a lot of those buffs, maybe go in for those Drakes, for those Barons that they spawn in so they can make their lead even further? Or do you think that they're content to just sit by and punish UNC as they go in for them? Because Michigan Tech knows that they have a lot of those buffs already on the field.
Totally. I feel like Michigan Tech is going to push out these lanes here because they have Baron buff. And Baron buff gives extra health to minions and makes them more powerful, so breaking these turrets are going to be much easier. And also gives them a slight damage buff. So as you see, the Galio is going to be trading with this Silas here. And as these minions come in, they're going to be coming powered. Nugtart coming in with a gank. And an easy kill for...
It's going to be a complete shutdown there. A shutdown coming on to Wannabe. That's going to be a 45-second respawn timer. Looks like...
And Mbessa ult missed. trying to get it onto Craftinator. Good fancy feat from him.
Explain to me what that Embessa ult does, John.
So the Embessa ult, that line you see, it puts them in the opposing team in the air. So since he was going for Jinx, it would put Jinx in the air.
Hold
However,
on here,
he's
big
a
team fight coming in. Craftinator are going to be slaying Cage Feet. That's not going to be good. This is Michigan Tech fighting over that mid tower.
And they get that mid tower free because
that's
that
going to
Baron
be coming
buff.
down incredibly easy. That Baron buff really showcasing its hand there, and that's going to be 4 members of MTU spreading onto the inhibitors here with
Tier
just
3
Dumpling and Krispy Kreme to be able to
Braum got
defend. Sunless going to be slaying Dumpling. Craftinator destroying a blue inhibitor. This could be game.
Dianol coming in.
What is UNC going to be able to do? It's going to be a 2v5, a 3v5, another turret going down here, a blue turret going to be destroyed, and Michigan Tech just seems unstoppable. All those buffs that they've accumulated over the entire game, it's going to be a double kill for Jinx, and UNC
Jinx
doesn't know what to do. They have no response. They don't have those buffs. They don't have those items. Michigan Tech over 10K in the gold lead here, and that's going to be game.
That's going to be game.
That's going to be a decisive victory coming out for Michigan Tech here. That was very interesting. We saw a lot of kind of close fights there earlier in the game, especially with that first really decisive fight going in for UNC. But Michigan Tech just given the ability to steamroll as those fights come on later. It looks like, I don't know about you, John, but for me, it was really Michigan Tech's ability to not overcommit to those team fights there after that first attempt. There was that first team fight coming in where they overextended a little bit, lost 2 of their members down there in the bottom lane. But after that, they really just had their 1v1s, especially Craftinator, just getting those early picks on members of UNC. And then UNC perhaps a little bit overeager when it comes to the punish and those 2 massive team fights going the way of MTU because UNC just didn't know when to back off.
Yeah, totally. I feel that Michigan Tech really took advantage of that early gold lead that Jinx accumulated from that early double kill.
Yeah.
They were able to ramp her up, get her item early, and absolutely steamroll these team fights and play around Craftinator there. It was masterful, I would say. Especially when, towards the end of the game, where UNC is getting desperate for these, trying to get these picks.
Yeah.
So they can get these buffs, because they're 5K gold behind, so that's about 2 items worth of gold. And they just couldn't get their hands on Craftinator, and he's just outputting that damage.
Yeah, a lot of that support coming in there to keep him alive. I don't know about you, but I think I would have to go for Craftinator's MVP for this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For this, not just because of the fighting power that he was bringing when it came to MTU's brawls, but just as John mentioned a moment ago, his ability to stay alive there, knowing just how far he can push the amount of damage that he's doing to UNC here without overextending. Because if he does end up going down at the beginning of some of those massive team fights, those 2 huge team fights as we saw, this could have been a completely different game. Because if UNC manages to go 1-for-1 in one of those fights, well, now all of a sudden they don't really have that same motivation to overcommit. They don't really feel the need to go in and get that punish. But because he was able to be so slippery and just escape from those fights, oftentimes on just a sliver of HP, UNC feels kind of desperate to avenge their fallen teammate, feeling like they have to commit perhaps more than what would be reasonably expected to some of these team fights, and that ended up being their detriment. So I would have to give him the MVP for this first map.
I think the hidden MVP kind of here is I would say Sunless or Echo. His Galio gave a lot of crowd control, gave Jinx more reasonable room to roam.
Yeah.
And also gave those ults, big ults from him.
Yeah, a lot of shutdowns there.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty good. We're going to be just in a brief waiting period here while we wait for match 2 to begin. Both teams going to have the ability to pick and ban some different champions. So I have to wonder if UNC is going to be avoiding that same team composition they went for last time, because as we saw there, they did go in for that very late game heavy builds, the ability to ramp up a lot of their items at the end and potentially steamroll MTU as we get into those final couple of minutes of the match. But that really didn't work out for them. It seemed like Michigan Tech's response to their build, really trying to strengthen their early game presence, was what kind of won them that game, because UNC's build was entirely about getting those early game advantages, but not too far, just kind of holding their own for the early game, I should say, until they get right at the end there and they're able to push massive buffs on a lot of their brawlers. But because they were just on the back foot for pretty much the entire game, except for that early team fight in bot mid, they never really had the opportunity to there. And some of those counter picks from MTU, like Jinx, to be able to provide that sustained damage and not rely solely on that early game aggression, really proving their worth in a lot of those fights. So UNC going to be looking to defend their stolen honor in that first game here, as we're a couple minutes away from getting into that champion select for the second game. And Michigan Tech going to be looking to continue that, quite honestly, dominant streak that we saw there in that first game. UNC having to rely on some of those gold bounties at some points, and Michigan Tech only really having, I think, a couple minutes in the game where they were ever at a goal disadvantage.
Yeah, that really botched team fight that they did for that dragon earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Definitely looked very sketchy there towards that side, because especially since they lost their gold lead, they UNC could have definitely snowballed that lead and made it a different game than it was we saw it right now.
Yeah, just a couple missed opportunities coming out from them there. And I guess while I'm taking a drink here with some of our Gatorade merchandise, I should let you guys all know about University Images. Are you looking to spice up your style, potentially get a jersey to support your favorite esports team despite our Valorant team's performance? Unity Images is your official headquarters for authentic Michigan Tech Huskies apparel and wear. It is university owned, it is university operated, it is University Images located in the SDC. Or go to bookstore.mtu.edu to get some of your own merch today. I know that a lot of the stuff, especially the stuff we're wearing right now, is extremely comfortable. Hopefully to not inflate my ego a little bit, I do think that it looks very stylish. I think you look really good in that jersey, John.
I appreciate it. You flatter me. I enjoy it a lot as well. It's very comfortable. Shows off my muscles. No, I'm kidding. But
yeah, we're gamers.
Yeah.
Except for
Yeah,
Nug.
we're gamers.
Nug's got some serious.
Nug looks like
Yeah.
a bodybuilder in this.
He does not look like he
uniforms.
plays video games.
But what are you thinking about this next game? What do you think they're gonna look for?
Well, I mean, I had already mentioned that I think that UNC is going to be changing up a lot of their style. I think that knowing how Michigan Tech likes to play those early games now and going for that early game aggression, if they get the same vibe coming out of Michigan Tech again, I think they're going to be going for some more sustained DPS or even potentially counterpicking into the same early game aggression, so they don't have that back foot at the beginning of the game where they're unable to get their big and powerful characters ramped up for that, second half, last third of the game really coming in. I do want to see coming out of UNC here a little bit more decision making when it comes to some of these team fights. I do think that their biggest detriment in that last map, as we stated, was they're just unable to accept that they've had a small loss and back away. A lot of the times when they, took that disadvantage, losing that early first pick in some of those fights, they were unable to accept that and decided to hard commit into a lot of these team fights, which ended up, being what lost them that game. Just the inability to back away and accept that we haven't won this battle, but at least we haven't lost the war.
Yeah.
For Michigan Tech side, I think I want to see, to be honest, they had some pretty good team fighting there. I think that they had a lot of really good ganking opportunities. I do want to see a little bit more proactiveness out of them when it comes to recognizing when UNC is going on these big fights. I also do want to see potentially a little bit of ult placements. I think Michigan Tech rushing a couple of those ability placements, as you had pointed out, especially near that top lane, a couple missed opportunities to do a 1v2 or a 1v3 gank because of some missed abilities. But overall, a lot of stuff really good showing out of the Huskies here.
Yeah.
Have a little bit more bad stuff to say if they had lost that game, but it was a pretty dominant performance coming out of map 1, so not too much to point out there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Any thoughts about last game?
Any thoughts about last game?
Yeah.
That's a new topic. I don't know. What do you think about last game, John?
I think it was a great team play from our MTU. I do think that there were a lot of missed opportunities on punishes, a lot of blunders as well. Even though, and UNC, yes, of course, UNC.
That's the college.
Yeah, UNC didn't really punish it on it. For example, like Nugtart was going for a flank on the Drake, and the team caught it on vision, so they started going for him, and Nugtart did get one trade on the junglers, so the objective was safe.
Yeah.
However, it could have gone real bad because they could have gone straight for our Jinx and then won that objective pretty easy, but they did split themselves and lost the team fight because we all grouped together and took them out one by one.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be getting into the pick and bans here. It looks like it's going to be the same to start off with from both sides. Rel and Ornn for NC Chapel Hill, and Talon and Riven again coming in as the bans from Michigan Tech. So
Mhm.
explain again why Michigan Tech is banning Talon Riven here.
Talon is right now is a very strong jungler. He's able to jump over walls whenever he wants to, except he can't jump over the same wall on a certain amount of cooldown. I think it's like a
Yeah.
minute, 2 minutes, which is like not that long of a cooldown. Then they got a Jarvan the fourth ban coming in here. It's another jungler ban. Very good in team fights. His ult is very oppressive in team fights, especially tracing down the ADC.
Yeah, Michigan Tech potentially realizing that UNC's weakness there was some of that team fighting, and so not wanting to give them an opportunity to pick into some characters that would potentially supplement that weakness. We got a Kaisa ban. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, Kaisa. Yep, that is another bot lane pit ban there. She's a very good carry. If she gets that momentum going, she's able to shred the other team. First pick Pantheon. NC Chapel Hill forgot to ban the Pantheon. Looks like Nugtar's gonna go a nice little Pantheon. That's what he went on his 11-1 game to carry the team.
Yeah, potentially not wanting to let Craftinator steal the show on this game,
Oh yeah.
wanting to put his foot down and say, "It's all right, guys. My back doesn't hurt that much. Climb aboard." But what are Pantheon's strengths right now?
Pantheon strengths is his stun. His stun stuns them for a couple seconds and also deals damage at the same time.
Yeah,
And he also is just very early, oppressive, and able to do his own damage. And his ult is basically like a Galio ult, but it's able to go basically across the map without a target.
yes. So it can be used in place of a teleport, I guess, if you really needed to.
Basically,
And then we're gonna have the first pick for NC Chapel Hill being Varus here.
along with the Graves jungle, and a Varus bot lane. Varus is a very strong tank shred. So looks like MTU is going to pick a Hui and a Seraphine. Seraphine support being a really good enchanter and very oppressive to the Varus because her be able to poke and just get damage and sustain and root people. Got an Akali coming in
Kali.
from Chapel Hill. Very aggressive on the Hui. So actually Hui's counter. In fact,
Yeah,
Hui's not able to fight this brawly dive assassin. Hui's more of a scaling, just like control the field mage.
yeah.
Nash band
Like,
coming in from Chapel Hill. Ash is a very good band because it looks like Michigan Tech is aiming towards a more C or stun comp
yeah.
to keep the Varus out of the game.
Mordekaiser banned for Michigan Tech.
That's a very interesting band. I don't think, in my opinion, Mordekaiser is like strong, but
Yeah.
not. I wouldn't say team fight strong.
Yeah, I mean, as the resident league expert, I'd have to agree with you.
Yeah.
He's not exactly the greatest when it comes to those team fights, but still, Michigan Tech potentially noticing something with NC Chapel Hill's gameplay that leaves them cautious of leaving him in the pick pool. And it's going to be a Corky ban coming for NC Chapel Hill. Can you explain those two bans there?
Yeah, the Corki band. The Corki band is very good because Corki has a lot of utility and damage and is able to carry by himself early and late. Doesn't matter when. He is just very good to keep control, which is what Michigan Tech is pivoting for. Gwen band coming in for Michigan Tech. Very good band because Gwen is very strong late, and it's also a big lane bully for the top lane or maybe even the jungle if they
Yeah, Michigan Tech once again looks like a little bit wary of NC Chapel picking into one of those late game builds again. We got Gragas coming out for NC Chapel Hill and Jace from the hit Netflix show Arcane will be coming in for Michigan Tech here. Can you explain those two?
Yeah, Gragas is very good at sustaining in lane, being able to farm, but he's also very good at diving towers. He's also got a lot of crowd control, so he's able to peel his bot laner. He's also able to sustain his zone. We also got a Gnar. Interesting, a Gnar coming in, maybe, and a Jace. The Jace is an interesting pick because looks like they're gonna run poke bot lane, which is just trying to use their abilities to make sure the bot laners can't really do anything.
Yeah, not letting him get that upper hand.
And the Blitzcrank is coming in to counteract this poke in because it's probably going to be a Hui and Seraphine bot lane, and Varus and Blitzcrank on NC's side.
yeah, what are Blitzcrank's strengths right now?
Blitzcrank's strengths right now, it's able to pull in an enemy character, and then another part of his combo would be to knock him up, and then his ultimate silences them, so they won't be able to use their ability.
Yeah.
And
So
Hui is very ability dependent, so it's going to be very interesting to see how Michigan Tech really combats this counterplay.
yeah, I wanna point out that NC Chapel, a couple of those, as you had mentioned, team fight heavy agents or champions that they've been picking into here, and that's gonna be pretty important. Potentially some quick reflection from NC Chapel coming in here to know that those team fights last game didn't exactly go their way, and potentially wanting to keep some of that aggressive play style while picking into some agents that are going to be a little bit better when it comes to that crowd control and being able to deal with these massive 3v3, 4v4, or potentially even 5-on-5 team fights coming in here for some of these objectives.
Yeah, and it feels like NC Chapel Hill is going for comfort picks because there's not a lot of good team combos that I'm really looking at other than maybe Varus and Blitzcrank coming in here.
Yeah.
Uh, Graves is very good at they may look to be very aggressive on the bot lane, make sure Craftinator doesn't have his same rampage that he's gonna be on.
Good luck with that. But going to be loading in here pretty soon. We've so far got all of the members in the lobby, and then we're going to have to wait for the picks here coming in and then the spectator delay. So champion picks just starting for them on the server, so that should take a couple minutes, and then like we said, that spectator delay will be coming in.
Who's your favorite character in Arcane?
In Arcane?
You spoke about Arcane.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Well, I mean, I don't want to be basic and just say like Vi or Jinx or somebody. I don't know. I really like Echo. I'm not gonna
Echo?
lie. That no spoilers, but that alternate dimension
Yeah,
or alternate like reality that they went for in the
I like
second
that a
season
lot.
there, that was pretty sad.
Yeah, looks like I don't know. I feel like Michigan Tech's comp is gonna be very dominant over this next one here.
Yeah, you think they're just gonna be going for a lot of poke and a lot of buffs on their agents, potentially going for, like you said, keeping NC Chapel Hill at bay, not really letting them get that ramp that they want to be able to get those overpowered monsters online later in the game. So NC Chapel Hill obviously going to be hoping that the opposite is true and that Michigan Tech's poke isn't going to be that great. Obviously, like you said, coming in with that Blitzcrank counter pick to potentially go against Jace, Nar, Hui, Seraphine, all those agents, but should begin to the action pretty soon here. I think MVP predictions again. Do we have anybody for MTU that we think is going to be taking it this time instead of Craftinator?
I'm thinking the Pantheon.
The Pantheon?
Pantheon is gonna go carry this game.
Yeah.
I think it's looking like a very brawly game again, most likely. I feel that if things go right, this Graves will not have a chance to do anything this game.
Yeah, so that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that he gets completely shut down, unable to really have those advantage in that team fights. While we wait for the spectator delay on the stream, ladies and gentlemen, we want to remind you that Pepsi is an official sponsor of Michigan Technological University. As we had mentioned previously, these type of sponsorships are what make all of this possible, give us the opportunity to play the games that we enjoy. And so we got some Pepsi products up here. That's what's going to be keeping us alive during the next couple hours, keeping our players alive down there at the desks. And lucky to have that, some refreshing sustenance after a run in our dining halls. Not everybody has those type of machines. And while you're here, we also want to remind you that, did you join our stream late? Do you want to keep up with the rest of MTU Esports? If you want to see things like past VODs, although do not go and watch the Valorant VOD from past Thursday, that was bad. And other future content, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at MTU Esports. Follow us on Twitch, potentially follow us on Twitter, or X, the everything app, as I suppose it's called nowadays, just so you can keep in touch and be able to get notifications and reminders for when events like these are happening. We'd love to have you there. We'd love to have everybody in the streams. It means a lot for our players to be able to see the support coming out from family, friends, and just random people that are tuning in to see what's going on here at Tech.
Yeah.
So looks like loadouts really coming in here for on the server, and the spectator delay is now going to be set, I believe, to 2 minutes? 3 minutes. So
We have to wait 3 minutes.
you need
here.
to go get snacks or anything like that. Make sure you get ready for that. Get ready to get into the action. Get some Pepsi products. Go online. Go book your apartments. Go get your university apparel. become the #1 MTU stan.
What's your are you a Detroit Lions fan or are you a Green Bay Packers fan?
Am I a Green Bay Packers fan? Well, I'm not. Physical sports are like weird to me.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
it's just video games are such higher skill, obviously, when it comes to the mental aspect. Very physical stuff. But I am a Detroit Lions fan. I'm not a Packers fan. I don't really have anything against the Packers, but we let them beat us the other week. Out of the kindness of our heart. But hopefully never again. We're going all the way to the Super Bowl this year.
I agree.
So,
anyways,
super excited for that.
who do you think is gonna get first blooded on this this game here?
Who do I think is gonna get first blooded?
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think it's gonna be Coffee Is My Life.
Yeah.
I think that they overextended like 3 or 4 times last game. That was a lot of the. That was the person who I felt like was going down a lot, leading to UNC feeling like they had to commit to a lot of those team fights. So hopefully they can get it in check, get that tilt out of their head, and just play with a clear conscience. We'd rather have well, obviously we're not biased at all and definitely don't want MTU to win. We do want to have a good game here. We want things to go along. We want you to see some good gameplay, some structured gameplay coming out from both sides here. Looking for a good fight. A stomp is never fun to be both watching or be on the receiving end of. So hopefully they can get that overextension under control and we can see some really nice extended brawls here between MTU and UNCC.
Yeah. It seemed like Coffee was not very happy throughout half the game. It looked like he was just making some brash decisions to get the game over with, in my opinion.
Yeah, really having that GG go next mentality that didn't appear to be shared by the rest of the team, and potentially making some of those blunders. But they did have a lot of good fighting as a team. I'm sure the team was like, hey man, no worries, you got this. Like obviously he's competing in this league. He's got to be a good player. He knows what the game's about. So, like we said, hopefully should be a good game coming up here for game 2 for you. Looks like our spectator delay has just finished wrapping up, so we should be jumping into the action in just a couple of moments here as we wait for the game to load up. And let's get into it.
I'm excited.
Hopefully, yeah, we'll have some 2-0 for Michigan Tech would be very nice, going from 0-2-0-2 to 2-0-2-0. Just finalizing their builds here as we wait for the stream to swap over here. Get into it. Players spawning in right now. Going to be making their early game choices, heading to their early game positions. Waiting for you guys to be able to see that reflected. Should be coming in any moment. And here we go. We're off into the action.
Looks like UNC is gonna look for a invade into the bot lane jungle of Michigan Tech's. And as we see, they're going to look for a nice hook on maybe Craftinator or something. Looks like they're positioning the bottom tri-bush. Ooh, very sneaky.
Yeah, all 5 from UNC grouping up together here. Deciding potentially they want to go for an early invade. Going to be roaming around bottom lane. Craftinator are going to probably be getting vision on
good poke by
1, maybe 2, but Michigan Tech, so far it seems unaware that every single person on UNC is going to be playing together here, although it actually looks like they've split up a little bit. The 2 bottom laners, the support and the bot lane going down together there. Zekawanabe going to be stationing himself in mid lane as they decide to spread out. Potentially they were looking for a little bit of early aggression if they could catch a player alone, but not going to be finding it. So
looks like that invade was also shut down by the early vision that Michigan Tech put down in that bush that they were going to walk into. And it looks like Blitzcrank is coming back in with, he has Ignite equipped. So that means he's going to have some early damage on to the opponent, aka us, Michigan Tech, and hopefully try to be more oppressive.
Yeah, explain what Ignite does.
So Ignite, you just point and click, and it does like 80 to 140 true damage, depending on what level you are. And it's just free damage, and it's able to, it just goes over 4 seconds, so it's just free damage and could help you secure a kill.
Yeah. What kind of trade-offs do you have to make to be able to pick up into something like that?
So for supports, what you're missing is you're going to be missing you either would run ignite or heal. So our Seraphine is running heal. So on press you heal for a certain amount of health per level,
Yeah.
and that keeps you in lane longer. And of course, ignite can be swapped out, which does more damage depending on level.
But you lose that heal
But
ability.
you lose that heal ability, yeah.
Some good poke for UNC onto MTU here. Craftinator going to be just above half HP. Be looking for some early penetration coming? No, they're going to be backing off. Coffee is my life and Dumpling deciding to not really commit to this fight. Craftinator still going to be taken down to exactly half here. Gold pretty even for both teams. So both teams just choosing to stall, do a little bit of poke, not really commit to anything early on. Michigan Tech potentially not wanting to go for that bot lane fight as that did not go their way last time.
And it looks like we missed something very important on top lane. There was a big trade going on between Music Tabs and Kage Feet, which forces Mr. Kage Feet to use his go back and use his teleport to come back to lane and not miss his XP and gold.
Yeah, looks like still some more poke here down in the bottom lane for Michigan Tech. Kren and Craftinator still going to be fighting against Coffee and Dumpling. Both just choosing to trade some damage here, trying to get that minion XP while also looking for opportunities to be able to go in. Looks like nobody's going to be taking anything yet.
Coffee is running low on mana, so he's going to have to either go back or just not be able to use abilities and hope that Michigan Tech doesn't start a fight here.
Yeah. It's like nobody coming down to assist quite yet. It's like
Graves is on the top side of UNC's jungle, and our Pantheon is in the bot side of our jungle. Pantheon coming through vision, so UNC is going to be backing up so they don't get ganked. Drake is coming up in 32 seconds.
Yeah, for those unfamiliar, when they back up towards the towers, when the opposing team is extremely close to them, do heavy damage that scales up over time to the team that the tower does not belong to. And so whenever either team feels like they're getting pressured a little bit, they can back up into the safety of that tower. Big fight here coming. You're going to see them trying to retreat towards the towers. We said Flash coming out from both Cran and Coffee is my life. Cran attempting to go for a dive through that tower, but not going to be able to. Craftinator brought down to just 2 bars here. We are going to see the dragon spawn in. Michigan Tech, they really wanted that punish on a Coffee, but they're not going to be able to get it. It is going to be a little bit of tower damage, though. So not all bad, but Craftinator not wanting to overplay his hand here. Both mid lane players also going to be pretty low. We're going to see a channel come in from MTU here, low on health and mana. Looks like Nugtar. Oh, he wants to go for the fight on Azeka Wannabe.
Cancels
the aggression.
Back.
Ooh, Craftinator almost brought down there. Also going to be channeling, deciding to go back, get that regen up. Zeka Wannabe go a big damage there. Going to be taking the health lead back for MTU. So this is going to be able to. Both teams now going to be on about the same. And Nugtar potentially coming in. He's going to flash. Oh no! And Nugtar is going to pull first blood. Hey. Completely shutting them down. I think you were right on that prediction.
I think so.
I think that was straight on.
Looks like UNC is, however, going to get the dragon because they were earlier on the resets, unfortunately because of their deaths.
Yeah, Cran, however, coming on, potentially looking for a contest.
A control ward onto the drag pit so they can see that they're taking. She is going to be contesting. Graves is pretty low on health. Has to
Dragon under 250 here. Now Craftinator also going to be coming up to assist on this fight with the Dragon. UNC actually potentially backing up. It's going to be a stun. Ooh, the CC's on Craftinator going to be good. He's going to be brought down to under Dumpling's HP here. But this is gearing up for a big team fight. This is a 3-on-3 that we're about to see here. Krispy Kreme kind of trapped. He's going to be taken down. Sunless is going to end up taking him down. That's going to be a big fight. Dragon's super low here. Zeka Wannabe going to be slaying Cran, though, and it looks like UNC is going to be taking the Cloud Drake. Blue team going to be taking the Feat of Warfare, though, but potentially coming out on top there for MTU, especially with Sunless going to be going down to Coffee is my life. Looks like the gold lead just slightly for MTU here, but I don't know if they're going to be happy with that. Losing 2, or was that 3 members in the process, and also giving the first Drake up to UNC.
Yeah, that was. I don't think that was a very smart play. Akali had the first move on the mid laner, so she was able to punish both Crayon and Hui. Gragasol coming in.
Music Tab's
Gnarl.
going to be trying to escape here, brought down to 2.5 bars,
Grave
2
coming
bars
in.
here. Grave really wanting to go in for this fight.
Flash is coming in. Flash trade.
Is he going to be able to get back to his tower in time? Kagafi
Gragas
really wanting
messes
to
up
punish.
his dash.
Ooh, yeah, he does not land the ability correctly, and this is going to give MTU the ability to potentially escape unless Krispy Kreme here coming in, and he's going to be sniped.
That's a huge.
That is
ball.
a big kill. That is going to give UNC a lot of control over that top lane while MTU is put on the back foot with that respawn having to come in.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, that Michigan Tech just not having the vision in place to see that fight was going to be coming in. The jungle for UNC going to be coming in and putting MTU on the back foot. And now Michigan Tech kind of wondering what they're going to do here. They're down a dragon. They've lost that first team fight as well as getting one of their members sniped. There's like a fight, potentially a 3-on-3 coming up here just in the jungle, top jungle.
Looking for those grubs.
Yeah, they really want to get those grubs online. That's going to be a
UNC
3-on-3.
grabbed the first one.
Nugtart going to be slaying Dumpling, though. That's going to be huge. Sunless also going to be slaying on the Zeka Wannabe. You know, UNC left reeling from this team fight, going to be backing off. And just like that, Michigan Tech potentially regaining that advantage in terms of the numbers. It's going to be 6 kills to 6 kills here. I believe 2 or maybe even 3 coming out from both Nugtart and Sunless. But Sunless potentially overextending a little bit. And Craftinator going to be rooted. This isn't great. Potentially trying to escape. It looks like Coffee's My Life is going to be backing off slightly. Craftinator going to be also pulling back, deciding, both bot laners deciding not to fight in that mid lane, or in that bottom lane, excuse me. Looks like, Dumpling coming in for Coffee's My Life, but for the support for Michigan Tech coming in here. That Kran arriving on time is huge to prevent the gank coming in from UNC on the Craftinator. That could have potentially been bad, but good awareness from Kren to stick by their bottom lane. So, hopefully, not too badly. Dumpling and Coffee going to be extending a little bit, but that missed ability from Dumpling there going to put him down to half mana and potentially not wanting to go
Pantheon
in.
Coming in. Whale coming in.
That's going to be big from Nugtart, deciding to go for the 3v2, and Dumpling's going to be completely shut down and locked down by Nugtart. The killing spree going to be achieved, and our MVP prediction could not have been spot on, at least on this point into the game. He's shooting this like a ranked game. He does not care what UNC has to say. He's just running him down.
Gragasol coming in on Gnar. Gnar low HP. Rage meter full. A huge Gnarl, huge stun.
That's gonna be a big stun.
And
Music
that's
Tabs.
a great disengage.
Yeah, that's gonna be big. Explain to me what that Gnarl does there.
So that Gnarl pushes the person away, and if they hit an obstacle, aka a wall, tower, be that may, it will stun them for a certain amount of seconds and give them time to reset their abilities and maybe give them time to set up a play.
So that all there that came out was more defensive, just giving them the ability to get out of there, realizing they lose a disadvantage. Kagafi wanting to press Music Tabs a little bit, but Music just having the situational awareness to stick around that tower, let that do the DPS for him, make sure he doesn't give his life up, is what happened earlier in the half.
And going back to that bot lane fight was very good because Nugtart got the comm that Varus used his ult not too long ago, so it was on cooldown, and that's a big CC ability. Huge dive coming on.
Coming in here, it's going to be completely shut down into Cogfeet. That is potentially an overextension, potentially a bad ward placement. It looks like UNC had the vision that the MTU jungle was coming up to assist on that top lane fight, but just unable to get out in time. Potentially playing too close to where that ward was placed. Nugtart going to be chased by potentially 3 here. Going to be left alone though. I guess UNC getting the info that Sunless is going to be coming up.
TP coming in on Gragas onto the top lane.
A big 3v2 turning into a 3v3. Kran brought down, but that heal, as you said earlier, showing its worth. Kran on 2 bars. Dumpling also going to be there, and Sunless is going to be taking down Dumpling. We're going to be seeing Coffee in Life also slaying Kran, and Craftinator also going to looks like getting shut down? Potentially? I can't tell if he flashed out. No, it is going to be the double kill coming in, and so MTU is kind of getting their kill that they had neutralized by UNC. They're a good shutdown near the bottom lane coming back from UNC. If MTU had been allowed to escape that position, it could have been potentially bad, giving them control over the stuff that was spawning in, but that proves not to be the case. Looks like UNC is going to be contesting this tier 1 tower a little bit. They're also going to be taking the Mountain Drake. So that is a big deal.
Yeah.
That is going to be problematic for MTU. They're going to be at a 2 Drake disadvantage now. We're going to see the, what is that?
Oh, tower dive coming in from Gnar.
Ooh, he's
Couldn't quite-
so close
Oh,
to
that was a
bringing him
Gnar.
down.
Gnar out coming in just to clear the way. Gnar's looking for maybe a tower dive here, trying to
Do a little
deny
bit of
the
that
farm.
damage. God, he's not healthy enough to be able to contest this tower dive. But
Blitzcrank missed his hook on Crayon.
still a 2v2. What was that Oceans Bring Life that flashed on screen there?
So,
Explain to our
yeah.
audience what that means.
So after 2 dragons have been taken, the game is going to be based off of a couple dragons. Like say last game was a Cloud Drake, was the soul was
right?
the third one, and that's
Yeah.
going to be the dragons for the rest of the game until they collect the soul, which will give them a huge stat boost. And then after that one, there's no more of those like elemental dragons. It's going to be called the Elder Dragon, and that gives a free execute, basically, which means they have less of a health bar to whittle down.
Yeah.
And a huge kill onto Blitzcrank there by Michigan Tech.
Yeah, taking
Great
some of that
punish.
bottom lane advantage there. See here, Coffee is my going to be taking down one from M2. Turret plating going to be falling off here in just under or just over 20 seconds. So looks like Michigan Tech's just getting what little damage they can get into that tower to farm up a little bit more of that gold. For those unaware, before turret plating falls off, every single one of those ticks that you saw on the tower health bars there is going to give a little bit of gold winners reach for the team that is attacking the tower. But once that plating falls off, there's not going to be that gold advantage now.
Blitzcrank coming in mid for a gank onto Sunless.
Sunless, is he going to be able to
Blitzcrank all coming in,
escape?
trying to disengage.
Oh, he's on a sliver
Flash
of HP.
coming
Flash
in.
going to be coming out. It's going to be,
He-
oh, he's going to be caught. Second one to be going to be slain.
Nugtard coming in
Sunless.
for a trade, maybe?
Ooh, the trade coming in. Zeka Wannabe left on 3 HP, but don't
Blitzcrank
coming
no
in.
ult, and
Nugtard
Ignite coming in.
on a rampage going to be coming in.
But a counter gank coming in for
He's
Graves.
stuck on the wrong side. That flash is only going to bring him in line.
Oh.
Oh, that is not going to be great. Krispy Kreme now on a killing spree. UNC going to be equalizing that kill lead once again, not letting MTU slip away with it as they did last game. And now UNC with potentially the ability to go in for one of these towers. One of them is going to be channeling back, but
TP coming in from our music tabs here.
choosing not to press their advantage.
Pantheon,
It's going to be a
great
big
Pantheon
Pantheon
ult.
ult. And that is going to be taking down, Nugtard taking down another dominating. Is that 5 kills?
That's like five kills, I think.
Yeah, just
going on?
not wanting to be stopped. Just really just saying it's okay, guys. Like
Flash coming in from Varus. Crayon gets absolutely
yeah,
exploded.
Coffee in my life catching Cran there at a disadvantage. 3 members of UNC going to be grouping up here.
That's Rift Herald for UNC, but
Ooh,
until you
Michigan
get
Tech.
first tower, that's
Yeah,
Fruits.
that first tower comes on. That's going to be the
Raffinator on Vision.
first. Oh, he knows by now that he's trying. He's
Raffinator
about to
getting
get
caught
ganked,
out.
but not going to be able to escape.
coming
It
in.
appears.
Dodges.
Oh, he's gonna be taken down. Nugtard trying to help his teammate out, but potentially an overextension. He's trying to finish off
Nice.
Krispy Kreme, and he is going to get him. He is godlike, showing why he is the MVP of this game. And now a gank coming in the middle there.
Huge
but the camera's
Gnar
watching
ult.
over. That Gnar ult is huge. A massive stun on a Zek Wannabe, and there's no support coming down for that bottom lane. There's a 2v2, 2v3 coming in here in the mid lane. But Michigan Tech, with that health advantage, staying by their turrets, they're just distracting while that fight's coming on in the bottom lane. They know that they have that advantage here. Choosing not to overextend. Music Tab's still going to be with that health advantage on the bottom lane here. Zeka Wannabe deciding to go in, though.
That's
that was
Polyol
a...
being used there.
Yeah, going for a little bit of an assassination, but not able to get any value out of it. Just to dash in, do nothing, dash out. Kind of like the Jets in my ranked games. But...
Yeah, totally.
looks like support for MTU is going to be coming down to the bottom lane here, potentially wanting to gank Zeka Wannabe. Camera's going to swap off to see this fight in the top lane from Sunless
Nice
against
dodge by
Kagaseed.
Sunless.
That is going to be huge. Oh, a
Ult.
good pushback, however,
Graga's ult
from
used by-
UNC.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good defense there. Looks like Krispy Kreme farming up some of those minions here, potentially wanting to go for Scuttle Crab, getting some more of that Vision online. Vision appearing to be both teams' weakness at this moment. I'm not that big of a fan of the ward placements coming in from both teams. We've seen more than once each side get caught out by their wards being activated too
Ooh,
late.
Great caught out.
That's going to be big. A big fight, but it's going to
a
be
good
fought back. A
punish.
3v3 coming in here, a dragon spawning in the midst of this, but they don't care. They just want to go for this fight.
And Dumpling just getting completely shut down, unable to use his keyboard. You would have thought his computer turned off the way that he wasn't moving. And now all 5 members of MTU gearing up for a 5v3. They want control over this Ocean Drake. You can see here UNC wanting to do some poke, wanting to fight back, not give this 3rd Drake over to MTU, but there isn't really anything they can do. Both of their 2 other members going to be low, one channeling back to base, and they're just conceding the Drake, potentially realizing that they still have 2 of those dragon buffs under their belt, so they're not going to be at that big of a disadvantage by MTU taking this first Drake, but I'm just not a fan of that. I think that UNC went for too much of an overextension there. They went for that 2-on-2 team fight, managed to get that early advantage, but then we just have MTU come back, go for a 2-for-1 trade, and they just have full advantage over the dragon.
Yeah.
That is a blunder from UNC, going to be giving the gold lead over to MTU now by about 1.5k and also extending the kill lead to 1 for MTU. Kind of a scary callback to last map where UNC had some of that early control, had those not early buffs, but early control over parts of the map, and then just an overcommitment to a team fight, leaving them on the back foot. It wasn't even the entire team here, or specifically Dumpling choosing to go in and kind of give their life away, as they're doing now. He just can't stop holding W, and this isn't exactly the correct response. The rest of his team kind of unsure on what to do. You see UNC wanting to punish, but MTU just saying, sure, go ahead, walk into our tower range. It's just the same sad story of events for UNC coming out. Just potentially a little bit of tilt or something else coming out from Dumpling, feeling like he needs to be the one to make the hero play for UNC, but twice in a row just giving his life away now. And that is not great. It's going to be the big ult coming in from Craftinator here to get into that middle lane. At least I believe that was an ult. It's all just colors for me, but Sunless potentially trying to punish Kagafeed here. Some good heals coming in, but still Sunless going to be with that health advantage. That tower's low. Do you think he's going for that tower?
Gragasol coming in. Interesting. Very
yeah,
interesting.
This is potentially wanting some of that tower damage here. We're gonna see who's that they're fighting over there. Is that a Baron?
That's the Rift Herald.
The Rift Herald.
Rift Herald
Explain what that does again.
That you can spawn that thing in and it charges that
tower.
tower.
Oh yeah, the tower.
Huge
we saw
damage.
MTU lose like 1.5 towers to that last time it was spawned in the last map, but. MTU also proving that you don't need the Rift Herald to completely shut down your opponents. So
missed hook on Crayon from Blitzcrank to punish her going for that vision in that same pit they were just in a second ago.
Otacon going to be spawning in the bottom area, same as he did last time. Bottom area going to be known for a lot of that fighting, and so that's going to be the chosen spawn location. More deaths have gone down there, and looks like some poke. Zeka Wannabe going in, apparently trying to punish Music Tabs for just playing the game. It's
good flash, huge flash into a bait.
That's Zeka Wannabe is stuck.
Yeah.
He has to leave. He's on the wrong side of the tower. He can't stick around. And that flash was great. Just as you said, baiting UNC into trying to follow up, thinking that he's got MTU running on the back foot, but MTU immediately doubling back towards the tower.
Sunless in a 2v1 here.
Yeah, this potentially. Oh, good pull. Flash coming out.
Dodge. Ooh. Teleport coming in from Gnar.
Yeah, Nug gonna be pushing up here, going for a 2v2, 2v3.
Great disengage from Gragas there.
That was pretty good. MTU recognizing when they're at that player disadvantage and forcing 2 UNC players into that channel now. Which looks like only one MTU player and feeling the need to go back to base.
I think they're going to try to go for Otacon here, but I don't think they have enough damage because Craftinator and Sunless are not in the bot lane right now.
Yeah, it looks like MTU extending that gold lead to about 3k now. Kind of extending that lead a little bit, potentially getting an extra item online compared to UNC.
Craftinator playing a very
that was a good shot from Sunless there, doing damage to both of them. He's diving on Krispy Kreme. The flash going to be forced out?
Not a great idea. He tried to pull a solo play.
Yeah, trying to pull a Dumpling there with throwing his life away for a team fight, but potentially thinking that he could just get a little bit more DPS on one of the UNC players there, and he is going to be punished. So good team play there from UNC, recognizing the overcommit from MTU, and now 3 from UNC and 4 from MTU.
Huge charm.
Ooh, that's big. He's going to be
insane Zanya from Akali.
Ooh, it's going to be Nuktar coming with the goal. That's going to be a big ult, catching on 2 of them, but He's getting
You
shut
see-
down, just potentially misplacing it there, going for that damage onto all three, but just locking himself out of any escape options. Ooh, and now
I don't know what Michigan Tech's doing. They're just trying to do these solo plays, they're not, and UNC is down, but
they're pulling a UNC. They feel like they need to go in for these solo plays. I don't exactly know why they have the gold advantage. They're not too far behind on these buffs that they're bringing in, but UNC now, by just good punishes on those plays, has brought the gold lead back down to under 1K within, what was that, a minute?
yeah. And like they thought that UNC was weak because they are technically down, but since these are very assassinating characters,
As we're seeing here,
they're-
Zeka want to be going in for the
and
assassination onto
Kraft.
Craftinator. Ooh, that is going to be a big shutdown for UNC. They're losing a lot of that bottom lane.
And that is
Pressure.
Otacon gone for Michigan Tech. They are slowly losing their lead. Now they are almost behind.
Almost behind in gold lead.
But they got it back by shutting down Mrs. Akali or Zeka Wannabe.
Yeah, still going to be 1 kill ahead here. Going for, looks
Claiming
like
the second
another
Drake.
Ocean Drake. What happens if you stack those Ocean Drakes?
You get extra max health regeneration out of combat. It's just huge health buffs. Huge
Yeah,
health
so potentially realizing how far UNC's characters have scaled here and knowing they need to get some additional buffs online before they can go for those big team fights. Looks like Nug returning back to the lane there, a little bit worried about Coffee's pressure on their tower. Michigan Tech still with that mid, is that a mid turret?
Yeah.
Or
That's that
active?
mid-tier turret still up for Michigan Tech, but UNC's is down, which is very good. Unfortunately, right now Michigan Tech has been disrespecting Blitzcrank
Whoa,
hooking and
that's
putting a full
big-
combo, and that is a punish on Crayon.
Ooh.
Crayon
Yeah,
dumping
just-
her ultimate for no reason at all and wasting it.
Yeah, potentially looking for a disengage from that fight, but just too low health to be able to, you know, maximize on it. And finally, Dumpling getting some of that value there. We saw a lot of overextensions from him earlier on in the game, but it's surprising how as soon as he decides to play with his teammate there, he's able to just completely shut down Crayon from MTU. And that's going to be problematic because they're going to not have that support online for a little bit here.
Sunless is in a really bad position right now.
Yeah,
trying
getting-
to make the best out of it. Dumpling missed
That was
that
a
hook.
miss. Miss and a half. UNC...
They're getting pinched on a team fight.
Ooh.
Coffee is really low.
Yeah, but 2 UNC players coming up here from their right. Now regrouping with 3 of them. I'm a little bit worried about how extended Craftinator is here. If he walks any far forwards, there are two UNC players there waiting to greet him.
All 3 of them recalling. Graves, Ferris, and Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank, I'm thinking Blitzcrank's making a run to replace Nugtard on the MVP right now. He's low-key kind of been making a comeback, setting up these big plays and getting his bot laner fed.
Yeah, it's Nugtar with that early domination in this game, but a couple of overextensions just from MTU in general here, giving, like you said, Blitzcrank the opportunity to capitalize on some of them. And while we have seen some missed abilities and stuff coming out like that, UNC so far has been able to capitalize on those mistakes from MTU. So do you think MTU was feeling a little bit overconfident given how those team fights went earlier on in the half, or do you think that they were feeling a little bit desperate even though they had the gold lead because they were down?
Overconfident, definitely, because right now at this part of the game, every single character on UNC is at their strongest mark. For example, Akali's got, like, MTU's not quite yet tanky, but she's got her items, so she's able to basically one-shot Craftinator.
Like we saw with Craftinator, they had just completely dive them in like half a second.
Varus, their bot laner, has got Blitzcrank's full utility to use. And
Yeah, turret coming down there.
he's got like 2 or 3 items now, so he's able to do his damage.
Yeah, MTU again, like we said, taking down that turret. So UNC potentially worried about those turrets going down. It's kind of a hit or miss situation because UNC has the team power right now, we know, to be able to go for these massive team fights.
Crayon.
But if there is a mistake with the amount of turrets that MTU's taken down at this point, a team wipe or close to it from MTU would probably end the game right now, considering how much progress they've made in those different lanes.
Yeah, it's a little tough to say because MTU does have a lot of tower stuff. Nugtard pushing up, but I would say it would be probably 1 or 2 cycles before they could end.
Yeah.
But Baron is up right now, which is a huge buff to cannons, and we'll see MTU and UNC start to fight for that.
Yeah, looks like MTU gonna be taking it.
No, they just took the blue buff.
Oh,
that gives
yeah.
increased mana regen and ability haste.
No team going for the Baron quite yet, excuse me. See here, a little bit of poking and prodding in the bot lane, just getting a little bit more of that XP online. No massive fights. Dumpling a little bit
Ooh,
far
missing the
forward
hook.
here. Nugtart maybe wanting to go for a punish, but Kagafeet and Krispy Kreme never far behind from Coffee and Dumpling, and so letting MTU know that it's not going to be an easy fight if they do decide to go for that. A little bit of health advantage here for MTU. It is a 2v3 in the lane right now with
Dragon
looks like
spawning in 30 seconds. It will, if whoever gets the dragon here, either team will be on Soul Point, and if they get to Soul Point, they're able to get ready to cash out on collecting that soul.
yeah. So that is a
Important.
pretty big buff. We'll have to see what they opt for. Michigan Tech, do you think enough towers are down, or Michigan Tech has taken down enough towers at this point to potentially just, if UNC goes for a massive fight on the Dragon, to go for their
end?
end?
I don't think so. I think we're gonna have to see a team fight, a good team fight from Michigan Tech here, in order to get a nice lead and maybe an angle at winning. Akali coming in, flanking TP. Dumpling is getting punished.
Yeah.
Verisalt missing.
Craftinator showing some of that prowess from earlier in the game, but Nugtart and Craftinator going to be taken down by Coffee. Like, that was a huge play coming out
Huge
from
Charm
there.
coming in, huge Gnarl
Oh,
stunning.
Michigan Tech failing this team fight. Oh, and Sunless just left to run, try to pick up the pieces from
Having
what
to
his team has completely blundered.
And that's
and
gonna be
Michigan,
Baron. That's
yeah,
gonna be Baron as well.
that Michigan Tech, that they're gonna feel that in the pit of their stomach, just completely botching that team fight. Potentially just focusing too much on the Dragon, wanting too much to get to Soul Point, as you had mentioned, and just leaving themselves open to being exploited by UNC. UNC had that, or UNC lost that player early on in the team fight. I do believe it was MTU actually taking the first kill in the fight.
Oh, ult on
But-
Gragasalt onto Sunless. Sunless is now being caught out. Blitzcrank hook perfectly onto Jace, but he is
But
not
yeah,
able to
they're gonna take the
he's able to get out.
Baron. As I stated though, in that team fight, we just saw. I think the turning point in that team fight that turned it from MTU's favor to UNC there though was both Nug and Craftinator being so low and grouping up as that AOE ability came in.
Yeah,
Just both of them being taken down in the same second. You got to have that situational awareness when you know that they have these AOE abilities that can do big damage. If you're grouped up like that, you can't have two of your low health players stacking on top of each other.
I think it was also a very big blunder for them to go for that dragon without really getting a pick. They did get that pick onto Dumpling, but that's just false confidence there. That's just their support. They still got Akali coming in. They still got all their big damage dealers there. And even though Varus and Graves missed their all, UNC was still able to come victorious onto that fight. And you'll see Michigan Tech are going to start losing some towers here because of this Baron buff that they lost.
Yeah, we already saw that first tower come down, but
On top lane, yep.
UNC now with looks like about a 2K gold league as well as gold lead, excuse me, as well as a 3 kill advantage. And so Michigan Tech, I don't want to have to say they're going to need a hero play to pull this thing back, but they're going to need some very coordinated team fights, because another
Yeah.
massive brawl that they end up losing, I don't think they're going to be able to fight for much longer if that's the case.
Michigan Tech needs to farm up, but since they have that Baron buff, it's going to be harder to farm. We're looking at big level deficits. Craftinator at level 14, while Varus, I'm pretty sure, is almost to level 15, 16, while Akali is sitting at... Actually, yeah, Varus is at level 16. That's a 2-level difference, which is a huge amount of stats. In
Big
Craftinator,
team fight.
you caught out and
Yeah, he's going to be
killed.
caught out, and Dumpling just going to be caught, but it looks like that ult there, but still just completely able to escape, and that's going to be 2 turrets going down for Michigan Tech in the span of what looks like 30 seconds. Nug potentially trying to punish that wannabe in the bottom lane, but we're going to see UNC's 2 players from UNC coming in for the
TP coming in.
support.
They're looking to end
Ooh,
bot
this is a
lane here.
Big fight coming in here. They want this tower, and they
charm
want it
coming in.
now. 3 people from MTU versus 4
Oh,
from
Cran
UNC.
getting caught
Oh,
and
and he gets caught. Krispy
exploded.
Kreme going to be punishing. That's going to be that tower down, and this could potentially be the end of this round for Michigan Tech. UNC here, 4 of them advancing on Michigan Tech's base upon their nexus, with only 2 for Michigan Tech to be able to survive. This could be game. We're going to have 1 respawning, 2 respawning for Michigan Tech here, but potentially able to fight back. We're going to see one of those turrets. There's like 2 turrets in the base about to be destroyed. They're able to push UNC back a little bit, but Michigan Tech not feeling good about this. They're pushed back all the way to their base. There's no farming opportunities. There's no ability for them to recover some of this gold deficit.
Nektar trying to
Potentially
get
an
something, but
overextension, and Music Tab's really wanting this.
that's not a good Gnarl.
5 from UNC grouped up, and Krispy Kreme just going to be unstoppable, kind of painting the picture of the second half of this game for UNC. A 6-kill advantage, 7K ahead in the gold lead, and
58 seconds till Dragon spawns, so
yeah,
they're going to take a nice reset here and get ready for the next fight.
Michigan Tech just... They need that Dragon, and they need a massive team fight. I don't see a way that they can win this game without it. I think they have a very poke-heavy comp. They need to play a little bit more passive. They need to do some of that chip damage. You know, maybe get a good hit or 2 down onto UNC and then engage in those team fights, because they've just been brawling way too much in those last couple, and we've seen what problems it's caused. 3, 4 people almost getting team wiped twice in a row, just from overextensions during these fights, especially Craftinator and Nug. We've praised them in this first half of the game for being so good at shutting down their opponents, but as the game has gone on, potentially a little bit of that getting to their head, feeling like they need to keep that pressure up, they need to keep going for these dives, but they just aren't expecting to be caught out by 2, even 3 people from UNC all being together, and that's going to be Dragon spawning, so a big fight potentially going to occur over this Dragon. Both teams are going to want this. Do you get the soul if you kill this Dragon?
Yeah, so if UNC kills this Dragon, they will get soul. If Michigan Tech does kill this Dragon, it'll be another Ocean
soul
Dragon.
point. Both teams will be on soul point at that point.
And that'll be the fight to the death.
Yeah. So, and just Michigan Tech unable to get the Dragon. And so
Catching
that is
Dumpling
going
out,
to be
that's huge pick.
Sunless on Dumpling, but the soul obtained for UNC. A big team fight here, though.
Donnie's
5
coming
Protect Krispy Kreme just
And
shutting down Michigan Tech, just unable to do anything. Craftinator
Raiders
trying to run, but he's on the wrong side of the map. He's made his way into enemy territory, and he's punished for it. And
This is looking like the end.
yeah, Michigan Tech just whimpering out at this last part. Just the name of the game, overcommitting to these team fights, not taking good battles, and just unable to do anything to shut down UNC when it comes to these team fights. And so UNC going to take their walk over to MTU's Nexus. We're going to have a lone Sunless doing their best to defend the base against the onslaughts of the enemies, but just like me when I'm trying to defend against a sight hit, he's going to be quickly taken down and leave the core of Michigan Tech's Nexus
Charm
exposed.
coming in, missed, and it's
And
going to be
it's a
Nexus broken.
Sad sight to
1-1.
see. And that's going to be UNC 1-1, fixing a lot of their issues that they had on that previous game. A lot of those team fights going their way in that second half. I think the main thing that I'd have to focus on is just we saw that ramp coming out of UNC. First game, they had that ramp comp. They were unable to get it down. They just were at the disadvantage the entire time. But in this game, we saw Michigan Tech with a lot of really good early team fights. We saw Craftinator. We saw Nug coming out. We were glazing him so much for our MVP prediction. Nug at one point getting 5 or even potentially 6 kills in a row without dying. But UNC this time able to get those later game items online, able to get their characters buffed up, able to actually get some Drake buffs earlier in the game. And we just saw as soon as they're actually on even footing with MTU and they're able to power scale their characters as far along as they need to go, MTU just can't do anything with those team fights. I'd especially like to praise the Akali pick coming out from UNC here. We saw that getting value many times throughout this game, especially on Craftinator. I would be having nightmares about that tonight if I was him. Just the amount of times he got completely dived and 70-0'd or 80-0'd off of that Akali pick is just not going to sit well with you if you're an MTU fan, which I hope all of you guys are, unless you're UNC watching this VOD back at a later point. But going to be taking a little bit of a break here now. So again, go get your snacks if you need to. We're just going to be talking about what we felt like that game went on for. So go do what you need to go. Go use the restroom. Go get potentially some Pepsi products if you want to support big corporations as well as the Michigan Tech esports team and our other associating partners. As a reminder, if you haven't yet already, make sure you drop a like, drop a follow on whatever platform you're watching on. Make sure you leave a comment shouting the guys out down there. They're doing a great job, especially in that first game. Second game, going to be definitely bouncing back. I can see through the window there. They do not look trodden down. They look like they are sad that they lost that fight, but they're in discussion right now talking about what went wrong, and I would not be surprised to see a massive resurgence coming out from them. So how did you feel that map went, John, overall?
I think Michigan Tech had it under control at the beginning. Got a little overconfident and cocky. Started to make mistakes, and that gold lead started ending up. So the Varus, the bot laner,
Yeah.
was able to get his lead. And at the end of the game, when Sunless killed him, he was worth about 1,000 gold to kill. So at the end of the game, when Sunless killed him, that was about 1,000 gold. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
So he was
definitely
worth
did
a
a lot of
lot.
farming.
And he would, I think, Varus, the bot laner, and the Akali pick were definitely the be all end all of that comp.
Yeah, especially the Akali.
I also find Michigan's Tech comp a little questionable towards the middle of the game. They were looking for more team fights, but I saw kind of a lack of team fight from Michigan Tech. But I think it was just the fluster of these small mistakes they were making that added up to the end.
Yeah, I think what we honestly saw was a role reversal from MTU to UNC coming out here.
Yeah.
We saw first map, like we talked about in detail, UNC maybe losing a player early, feeling like they need to get a little bit, excuse me, overconfident, maybe chase a couple of those fights down, go for those big team fights because they're at a slight disadvantage. But then this map, we saw the opposite coming out from them. Very coordinated, not overextending too much, except for a little bit in the first half from Dumpling there, getting shut down a couple times.
Yeah.
But everybody makes mistakes, and it's okay because you got a pretty good team behind you there. And Michigan Tech, closer to that second half, just potentially losing a player early, maybe Craftinator dying to an Akali or something like that. And then Michigan Tech feeling like they need to go for these massive disadvantaged brawls to capitalize on that, not really wanting to be satisfied with being, a player down. Goes back to what I was talking about last time we talked about this, with just sometimes you need to recognize that one of our players made a mistake. Maybe we threw our life away for something stupid. We're not in a very good position because of that. Maybe our bot laner isn't able to collect their XP because they're on, respawn cooldown or something like that. But also recognizing at that same point that committing to a massive team fight at this moment, even if we potentially feel like we have a slight advantage, isn't going to be the correct play to make, because that's what we saw. And I wish MTU had recognized that sooner in that second half. I think that after that first team fight where they were too focused on taking the Drake down and weren't really ready to get completely jumped by UNC, I wish that they had realized after that happened they need to be a little bit more cautious approaching these team fights. They had a very poke heavy comp, and we only really saw a couple of blows get exchanged before they went in for those massive fights. And I think that them not realizing that by the time they went for that massive second team fight, kind of at that point in my mind was where it was like, okay, this game's probably done unless MT was able to pull something out of a hat here, because they weren't really learning from their mistakes on that final map, I guess, or on that final fight, I guess, is what I wanted to get into.
Definitely. I do feel bad for Craftinator, because Akali is a very big counter into Hui, as you saw. That Hui really can't do much against an Akali running right at him. So I feel bad. It's just a tough game. I feel like MT will bounce back here.
Yeah.
I think game 3 is next. I don't know if it's a best of 5 or best of 3. Do you know?
I do not. I would assume best of 3. But
if it's a best of 5, I think Michigan Tech's got the advantage for both, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's best
I
of
would
3.
agree with you.
Definitely, they'll win this next one. I know that.
Yeah, my boy's out there. So should be getting into the agent pick and bans in a second here. We'll be Getting that up to you guys shortly. They're just resetting right now, like we said, talking about what went wrong on that last map. Probably, having a discussion with the team captain about like, hey, let's not get too over aggressive here. I'm sure everybody's glazing Nug for his performance in the first half of that game because that was something to witness, especially for somebody that knows nothing about League. There's a lot of colors, and then he is dominating, he is godlike,
Yeah.
and that was pretty cool to see. So
Yeah, it's also unfortunate with Nugtart. Pantheon's very strong early, so
Yeah.
he did get that lead he needed, but just like as the game went on, just mistakes drew out the game longer than they could have. And
Yeah.
I did see a point at when the Michigan Tech was very ahead that there was a chance that if they won that team fight, they could have won the game, and sadly, like it just didn't go their way. I think it was just an unfortunate scenario of someone getting caught on vision,
Yeah.
and can't do nothing about it. It's just you got to reset the mindset there and just go next.
Yeah, you just got to realize that, that didn't go our way. Let's like you said, reset and just get into it. So, still waiting here for the Asian pick and bans to be coming in. As you can see there, it is tied 1-1 if you're just joining us. Very good first map from MTU. A lot to be desired from the second map, but not at the entirety fault of MTU's team. Some very good counter picks coming in from UNC, recognizing a lot of their images from or a lot of their issues from the first map, and I think this goes into some of what I was talking about right before this second match started, which I think we did get what we wanted to see. Even though MTU did kind of get shut down there at the end, we saw a pretty good game up until that point. I think as much as I want to see MTU dominate, I didn't want to see UNC unable to learn from their mistakes, unable to bounce back from that, and so I think that UNC being able to recognize what went wrong in just the very short amount of time they had between the first map ending and the second match starting, and be able to get some of that stuff refined, focus on those team fights, figure out what was, going awry in those team fights, shows a lot of flexibility. I know we have the same thing here on our MTU squad, so hopefully we should have an absolute banger map 3 coming in for you guys in a couple of minutes here. Anything in particular you want to discuss?
I'm just thinking that like if things go our way here, I think we need to lock in a good draft here. I think the draft is the most important part of the game here.
Do you think that we're going to see the same bans coming out from MTU, or do you think maybe we'll see a ban on something like the Akali, given that like Craftinator was shut down
I
so much
think
by it?
I'm pretty sure with this league layout, you can't pick the same characters throughout the
Ah,
say
it's like duels from Clash
yeah.
Royale.
So you're okay. So like since Nautilus was picked game 1, I don't think you can pick Nautilus throughout the rest of the series. So
Good to know.
I think we're going into pick and bans here.
Yes, looks like we're about to get that up. One moment.
I'm kind of screen peeking here. I got the same bands as usual. Talon Riven, Rel, and
Yeah.
Ornn. We got a Soraka band this time. She's got great heal presence. That's a good band. And then Dr. Mundo, of course, for this more tanky team.
Yeah.
Looks like Jarvan, Lucian, and Emilio coming in for Michigan Tech. Looking like they're going for more of a dive, very early game fight, team fight heavy.
It does
comp.
seem to be their strength that early game. And
And-
Hecarim,
and
Caitlyn,
Caitlyn
and
Karma.
Karma on NC Chapel Hill. So explain to us what that means.
So Hecarim's got some insane movement. He's very fast. He's got a lot of damage. He's gonna try to go for the Lucian. He's really great in team fights. He's got a great ultimate. His ultimate fears everyone, which means they all start like running away and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And Caitlyn and Karma get some good poke, especially to fight this Lucian, because Lucian has to get up a bit more close than usual to shoot, to do his autos and get some stuff done. But Emilio extends that attack range. Hopefully, they'll be safe from this Karma Caitlyn poke.
So Emilio's more of a range character, and Lucian, is he more of a tank or a DPS?
No, Lucian more is a bot laner. He has a lot of DPS coming in.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that range.
He doesn't have that range. Yeah, Caitlyn's more of course, a sniper. Got that long poke range, and she's also has the potential to 100 to 0 someone that's squishy as Lucian. So
yeah, so
Oriana and Victor bans coming in here for the mid laners. Those are very intense control scale mages. If they were to fight against each other, they would just sit in the lane the entire time just farming.
Very,
basically.
very enthralling.
Yes, very. Syndra Band coming in for Michigan Tech here. And Ari pick coming in for NC Chapel Hill. That's their mid lane pick. It's a very good early game. Get great roam potential.
Yeah, Ari known for her role in KDA, the League of Legends K-pop group.
What's your favorite song from that?
Definitely Popstar. I know it's the most popular one, but that's a banger.
Yeah, I agree. That's my favorite. Very interesting pick. A lot of early game potential. Very brawly. Good for team fights. Very good for team fights.
Yes.
She's always relevant in the meta, no matter what kind of meta we're in. And hopefully she'll. Ooh, a Mordekaiser pick.
Mordekaiser.
Mordekaiser is very interesting.
Yeah.
Brings his
and
ult brings one person to a 1v1 basically.
like ISO from Valorant.
Yeah,
except not Asian.
basically. Very good in team fights. He's got a aura. Like when he hits three auto attacks, he'll have an aura around him that does a lot of damage.
A lot?
Yes, a lot.
Yeah.
And he coming in for the mid lane pick. Very good pick against Ari. As she builds up, she uses her ability. She has a fireball that she throws every once in a while.
Yeah.
And if she hits, fully empowers it when every 4 abilities,
Yeah.
it'll stun them, and she was able to do her full combo, and be able to
So
keep Ari in place. It's a very big team fighter.
It's a lot of that
strong.
sustain. So
A lot of sustain and burst.
and Cassante coming out from NC Chapel.
Very good pick into Mordekaiser. He's more of like a bruiser tank. So Mordekaiser his aura does max health damage. So more health you have, the more damage he does. So Cassante is interesting because he doesn't build health, he builds resistances. So Mordekaiser doesn't really penetrate those resistances, so his damage doesn't really change from his health. And also Cassante has a form for his ultimate where he turns into basically a fighter almost, and has true damage on his one of his big CC abilities.
So yeah, you get caught by that, and no matter what resistances you have, you're going to be taking a lot of damage coming out there. We're unable to see what the last ban was for NC Chapel here, but
they didn't.
they chose not to take a ban. So
they think they have aura.
Yeah.
They think they're
they
that
think
guy.
they're him. Well, hopefully that'll lead to some more overextensions. We'll see. Potentially Dumpling giving his life up a couple more times here.
But looking at this this comp choice, I'm thinking this is going to sway towards Michigan Tech very much, because this team fight will be able to be picked out onto the Caitlyn.
Yeah.
If everything goes perfectly, Caitlyn should not be able to play the game.
Hopefully.
But we're gonna have to look for some counterplay to Karma here. Karma has a big shield that will hopefully save Caitlyn if Karma's gonna be a good teammate.
a lot of that healing and support coming out there. So
Yeah.
probably see them sticking together a lot. We see potentially. So does it look like NC Chapel has more of a poke build here?
No, they got more of a farming, and then look to group up and team fight here.
Okay, so get your powers online and then go for an overwhelming fight. And what would you say Michigan Tech again is building towards?
Michigan Tech's got we're gonna push, get all those minions, make them sit under their tower, and then try to fight for the priority for the Scuttle Crab, the Dragon, and the Baron.
Yeah, so get some of those buffs online as they spawn in, and hopefully interrupt or at least compensate for that farming that Chapel Hill is going to be doing here. So should just be a couple minutes here, folks. Have the players loaded in, and they're starting their pick and bans in the server. After that is done, we'll have to wait for that spectator delay, as we know, and then we'll get you right into the action here. So if you're still with us at this point, I'll just say the spiel again. Make sure you hit a like and subscribe. Leave an encouraging message for our Huskies down in the comments section, whether it's in the Twitch chat or in the YouTube comments, especially once the VOD goes live. Thank you all again for being here, for supporting our Huskies. We know they all appreciate everybody's presence in the chat today. And don't forget to check out our sponsors. Make sure you get your snacks, drink a Pepsi, drink a Mountain Dew. Maybe don't drink a Rockstar if it's this late at night, but you do you. Maybe you got a Simon's Dew or something like that. And let's get into the action in a couple minutes here. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think the jungle is either gonna go two ways. They're gonna focus heavy on the top lane prio because these two are very hard scalers. If one of them gets the priority, they're gonna be able to just push the other person on the tower, and they won't be able to do anything for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But it could also go the other way, where since Lucian is going to probably be looking to push the tower in under Caitlyn, the Hecarim might look just to camp the bot lane and just make sure Lucian can't do that and give Caitlyn that free farm and maybe some free picks.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. I guess what we're looking for from MTU this game was just a little bit more control on those team fights. We've seen that they have a lot of the sustain, as we talked about, so hopefully they should have, some of that advantage when it comes into these fights because, maybe some of the poke that NC Chapel there is going to be able to do isn't going to be great. My one worry for Tech is going to be that farm from Chapel, as we previously mentioned. NC Chapel, if they're allowed to do their own thing for too long, they're not punished enough early game by Michigan Tech, they are going to have that power scale, and we could potentially see, some problems for Tech arise there. But I'd like to see Michigan Tech, have a lot more control over some of these team fights. Do your damage, get out, don't overcommit. We know how good of a player that, Craftinator, we know how good of a player that Nug is when it comes to taking a lot of these 1v1s, by making sure to not put yourself in a position where you're going to be punished, which is easier said than done, I'd assume. But, just being able to take those team fights where we have everybody alive and everybody healthy, and we aren't taking it to avenge a fallen ally. So it's like we are waiting for spectator delay here. Should be getting into the action momentarily, everybody.
I'm excited. Who do you think's gonna get first blood this time?
First blood, I got to put my money on either Kraft or a Nug again.
I got my money on Mordekaiser here, Mr. Music Tabs.
Yeah.
Getting that first pick here. I'm thinking the MVP of this game is gonna either be this Caitlyn or this Lucian.
Yeah, it just depends on if Caitlyn's allowed to play the game or not.
Definitely. We're gonna probably see probably an early invade from UNC, but hopefully we can shut that down. If they don't do it, that's kind of a missed chance because their early game is way stronger than our early game. Because Annie doesn't have her early combo to use, and all the UNCCH characters have an insane level 1 ability and just power in general.
Yeah, so some of that early game, a little bit of a swap from what we've seen Tech go for the last 2 maps, where I'd say that they probably had a little bit of that stronger early power in those last 2. So a little bit of a role reversal coming in here. But should just be about 1:40 on the spectator delay, and then we'll be getting into the action. So we know that down there they're going to be taking their first steps, doing their first couple of fights. Got my fingers crossed right now that MTU is not just lost that early invade, as you said. But I don't even know why I have to cross them. We know they're not going to lose that. That's MTU we're talking about.
So if things go correctly, Lucian, Karma should be able to shield Caitlyn a lot. But there's this item that Lucian could build called Serpent's Fang, and that kind of counters Karma's entire build. So what Serpent Fang does is it reduces a shield by like 40%. So say you have a 2,000 health shield, it's only gonna be like 1,100 now. So
1,200, yeah.
Yeah, 1,200. It just won't be as strong as it could be, and it'll give Lucian more of a chance to whittle this Caitlyn's.
Yeah, kind of nullifying a lot of that support that Karma could potentially provide. So Chapel Hill going to be hoping that they can get, I guess, like you said, that early invade, that early advantage before Lucian's able to build into those types of items. But just looks like 35 seconds here until we're able to look at our Huskies and what I believe is their final round. If it does not go to a best of 5, we will have to see. It is a best of 3. Okay, so this will be the last game here. So hopefully Michigan Tech walking away with a 2-1 victory when we regroup and you see us for the last time in about 45 minutes to half an hour, 45 minutes here. We're going to be getting you into the game in about 10 seconds. So anything you wanted to add before we see MTU completely dominate and win in like 7 minutes?
I just know that I don't like Annie. I've played against many Annies, and Annie is like my least favorite character in the game. That stun is brutal. If you get hit by it, that's like half your health gone. If she's running that electrocute trait.
Well,
definitely.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, so you'll have to come to terms with her at least for the next 45 minutes here.
Yep.
See, we're going to be launching into the game here now. We'll be getting you swapped over in a couple seconds to be able to see what is going on the other side. Hopefully got a good match coming in here.
It looks like Annie is running that electrocute trait, so she will be a very early game. Ari is looking like she's going for a late game build and going with the Summoner's Aerie, which increases her ability haste throughout the game, which means she'll be able to use her abilities faster and more soon than others.
Yep.
Looks like UNC is not looking for an early invade.
Yeah, just choosing to posture up in their lanes.
Coffee is Life is looking and sitting in the bot lane bush.
Rat.
But it looks like a very normal game.
Yeah, very normal start coming out here. So potentially, as you had mentioned, just a blunder right off the bat there from UNC, choosing at least not right now to take advantage of that early game prowess that the champions they picked into can provide.
Yeah.
So MTU honestly probably breathing not quite a sigh of relief, but feeling a little bit of that pressure taken off their shoulders for the first couple of minutes here if UNC does not choose to capitalize on this. The Krispy Kreme slowly doing donuts.
So both Crayon and Dumpling this time are choosing to opt towards the heal. I played with Crayon's Melio once. I played Jin and I popped off.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
is that
I got a pentakill. Yeah, I got a pentakill.
W. A little bit of a early poke coming out here from Michigan Tech in the bottom lane. Coffee with My Life going to be brought down to half HP, maybe overextending a little bit more than they initially wanted to. We're going to see
Not a good punish by.
Yeah, he's
could have been a way worse for Coffee is Life, but that is good trade nevertheless. Sunless is overestimating Annie's level 1 and is now 1 HP basically.
Luckily, they were able to get away, but looks like it's going to be Sunless and Zekawanabe both level 2 here, just running around the lane a little bit. But early fights, or not quite fights, but early poke coming out on all the lanes, neither of them choosing to
There's that aura coming in.
sit back. Yeah, music tabs. That's our prediction right there for the first blood. That Mordekaiser. You see Kagafi looking for a little bit of punish, but a good dodge on the ability there. Oh, and this, Sunless overextending again in the middle of the lane. Just cannot keep his mouse off the W. Craftinator also going for a punish. I do not like this push up. This is very, very confident from MTU. They've played this game long enough to know how powerful UNC is going to be in this early game, yet they're still choosing to fight into it a little bit. Luckily, not too bad. Both teams not really overextending to the point of no return. Both able to back off, heal up, get their mana back up. But I wouldn't say a clear advantage coming out for either team right off the start here.
Yep, Nugtart just fitting his top lane clear. Looks like Cravinator's a little bit lower. Coffee is Life hit level 3 before. Karma speed boost. Looks like Hecarim, the jungler, is going to look to gank this Mordekaiser. Hopefully,
big good heal on Craftinator.
Hopefully Nugtart can get to a counter gank faster so Mr. Mordekaiser does not die here.
Yeah.
Kage feet really low.
Really getting
Good flash
music
coming
tabs,
in.
trying to run away. Is he going to be able to get
Good
out? He's
counter
going to get the
gank.
support. Oh, and Kage feet down to 1 HP. It's the support from Nugtart who's going to pull first blood.
Nugtart.
That's my prediction coming in right there. Let's go, baby.
On the Mordekaiser.
Nugtart's very low, but Krispy Kreme going to be slaying
Nice,
Nugtart.
one for one.
Huge trade from music tabs there to bring the advantage from the kills back to MTU. Now just 1 away from the feat of warfare. And UNC converting a little bit to their old ways there, feeling a little bit overconfident on that first fight.
Huge trade coming in. Not a good trade from Craftinator.
Yeah, wait, that's not great.
Flash.
Still pushing up, Dumpling.
Q.
Craftinator backing off a little bit. Cran's pretty healthy here, but not healthy enough to be able to take the punish. UNC retreating towards their towers a little bit there.
Unfortunately, since Wave was in a bad state in the top lane, Mr. Music Tabs cannot take it back and get his health back. Gank coming in from Hecarim, even though he just respawned.
Oh, it's the 3v2, and Craftinator
gets a one
trap. But blue team gets the kill first.
And Hecarim gets a kill.
Maybe
Maybe
feat of
another
warfare.
2-for-1 here.
Dumpling, same old,
Flash
same
on
old.
Dumpling.
Pushing in a little bit too much.
Hecarim could actually wipe this team by himself.
Oh, it's
Flash coming
nervous.
in from Melio. Sharp miss on Zeka wannabe onto Sunless.
And the overextension from Sunless.
Sunless.
That is
A solo
ooh.
bolo.
Yeah, that play right there is not going to be doing wonders for Michigan Tech standings. That Michigan Tech had that slight advantage. Bottom lane wasn't doing too well for them, but they were holding on. But that overextension from Sunless, just once again overestimating how powerful this character is going to be in these first couple of minutes. Just a unfortunate way to even up the kill feed there for UNC. And Music Tab's looking for a little bit of poke on Cake Feet, but not going to be able to really find any damage. Maybe looking for a little bit of tower damage potentially, but Cage Feet just going to be backing off a little bit. Not going to let any of that advantage coming in here for MTU. And it's going to be pretty dead even MTU by up by 100 or 200 in terms of this gold lead as we get closer to these first buffs coming in.
And Dragon has spawned. It's an Ocean Drake for the first Drake. And Kage Feet taking a little bit damage on that wave.
Yeah, a little bit of trades back and forth going on here in the mid lane and the bot lane. Neither team wanting to open themselves up too much, and neither team choosing to fight towards the Drake right now.
Sunless cannot dodge these abilities. He is eating these like cereal.
Yeah, he is really
Interesting engage on a shielded Caitlyn. This is not a winning fight.
yeah, Craftinator,
Craftinator,
but Dumpling, Craftinator just taking Dumpling out of nowhere, and Coffee is my life just now left
Is on the back
staggering.
end.
Like, why is my teammate fighting? Why is he overextending? Would not want to be Dumpling in the Team VC right now, leaving Coffee in a 2v1. That's not going to be great. But looks like Coffee going to be able to fall back a little bit. So still going to be playing around that tower, still going to be leaving themselves behind a little bit. MTU going to be channeling one, going back to get that. Both MTU, in fact, actually going to be going back to get that mana and health regen, maybe purchase up a couple of items. There is that gold lead for MTU has been extended to about 600 or 700 now. Over 500, so in that, very slight advantage territory. We're going to have Music Tabs and Cake Feet, a little bit of poke up here in this top lane, going back and forth, but they've kind of just held off except for that early game fight, and looks like Red here, UNC, is going to really want to get this Ocean Drake online first of all. Nug, Cran, and Sunless coming in here. 2 from the bottom lane, 1 from the mid lane to potentially contest this Ocean Drake, but...
Going into
gonna
steal!
Oh, the steal from MTU,
And
that is
and the Tibbers coming in.
huge.
Good kill on Karma.
Craftinator slaying Dumpling as well. Zeka Wannabe being chased
And
right now by a
Ari-
minion. He's running from a minion. He's 1 HP, and Nugtart slaying Krispy Kreme. That is going to be eating him for breakfast. Just completely shutting him down there. It's going to be the 2-kill lead now and for MTU, and over a 1K gold lead. So MTU definitely going to be happy with how that mini team fight went. Stealing the Drake's going to be big for getting that buff, but also just MTU finally choosing a proper time to go in for that punish, taking down 2 members of UNC in that fight, and they're going to be feeling pretty good about that as they both the teams back off to their respective positions and go in for a little bit more farm.
Oh yeah, that was a really good trade, and especially because UNC lost more than they would have gained if they actually got the Drake anyway. So if UNC got that Drake, it still would have been a net loss because they lost 3 people.
Yeah, but now just kind of on the back foot. Now, what we've seen from these games beforehand, both the first and second map that we've watched go down here today, we have seen the team with that early advantage not be the one to end up taking the map. It was UNC taking the early advantage on map 1, which did get conquered by MTU, and the roles reversing on that second map. But hopefully we can see MTU break free of the trend that we've seen so far across the day and actually be able to extend this early game advantage into part of that, or into a map win. I think it's important to point out, John, how you talked a lot about before we got into this game how UNC needed to capitalize on this early game pressure that their team comp provides. We didn't really see them doing them in the first couple of minutes. But would you say now by this point that they've completely wasted the advantage based that those first couple levels provide for their comp? Or is there still a little bit of early game pressure they can build into before MTU really gets rolling?
Yeah, I think the bot lane has a lot more time because Lucian does have the early game advantage on past level 1, but Caitlyn does have that advantage level 1. But like Hecarim and Ari are not really cashing in on what they need to be cashing in. This Ari needs to be roaming the bot lane more, making sure this Lucian doesn't farm. But also, this Ari has been taking advantage of this Annie and has made sure Annie has been shut down and not able to fully farm, as you saw in the early kill.
Yeah, Sunless having a hard time there.
Yeah.
Really, but Craftinator and Cran both pushing Coffee is my life. We
Earlier
see
barrier pop.
two people. Oh, I'm worried about MTU here. They're not gonna know
Here comes the gank
until they
from
hit that
Hecarim.
ward. Ooh, and the gank coming in from Krispy Kreme. It's a 2v2. Looks like it's about to turn into a 3v2.5, given how low Coffee in my life is.
Huge
Oh,
TP coming in.
Krispy
Mordekaiser
Kreme
coming in.
shutting down
Oh, it's
Craftinator,
actually
though.
Annie coming in.
That's unfortunate. And now with 3v4 in the bottom lane,
Here
Krispy
comes the-
Kreme going in.
Ari's into the fight.
Half HP.
Huge Nugtart.
Oh,
all
that
on
shutdown
Jarvan.
is big. Krispy Kreme was getting a lot of value down there, and so Nug being able to find that kill is going to force UNC to potentially back off here. We also see this fight coming into the top lane. Mordekaiser are going to be continuing that fight as our spectator drops back to the bottom lane here. It looks like it's just backed off into a 2v2 here, so Cran and Stunless both opting to, go back towards that tower. Michigan Tech does still have that 1K gold league, so potentially looking for an item unless they've chosen to continue this team fight. UNC potentially seeing how low Sunless is. Cran not too low and wanting to take advantage of it, but I'm a little bit confused about the read I'm getting from UNC here in this bottom lane. They seem to continually be wanting to pressure and go in for these fights onto MTU, but as soon as MTU fights back a little bit, they completely dial it back. So is this just some normal, poke and prod that we're seeing here in the bottom lane, or is this something more than that? Is this something they're aiming for? Do you think they're looking to take down MTU and they just can't find an opening?
So MTU's pushing forward and really taking advantage of this. Caitlyn's being really behind right now, and they come in. Hecarim's coming in for a gank, and the Karma was nowhere to be seen. And the fact that Hecarim got one, but Karma wasn't there until late into the fight really changed the tides. And especially because Annie had TP advantage and TP'd in and got there before the Ari did, and Ari had popped out, and it was too late. Like the amount of util and stuff that was used really changed the fight.
Yeah, just
especially that Nugtar.
Ooh, this is a 3v2 coming in. Krispy Kreme dragging Nugtar back. Nugtar going to be rooted and taken down in an instant from Zeka Wannabe.
It's a huge blunder.
Yeah, partially an overextension, partially just really good ability plays from Krispy Kreme. They're just not letting Nug be able to get away. I don't know if he had Flash online. It looks like he did not have Flash online, so just unable to escape that fight. And now the Drake coming in. Is that a Mountain Drake?
Yep, that is the Mountain Drake.
And this looks like it might be an easy Drake collection here for UNC. Not really contested by MTU, especially with Nug having been offline there while that fight was taking place. Music tabs, poking and prodding a little bit on Keg feet, but he's just going to choose to channel back. And Chem Plants, that's new.
Yeah, that is called the Chemtech Drake. This one gives increased tenacity, which tenacity is the amount of time that you're going to be in crowd control. So the more tenacity you have, the less time you're going to be stuck in a karma route or be feared by Hecarim. So this is a really good for MTU. MTU is going to need to start stacking these up, and even for UNC, this is really great for them because it reduces the time that they're stuck in that Annie stun and also stuck in most of the Melio displacements and stuff. It's a great dragon for this game.
Yeah, this will definitely be a big advantage. Hopefully we can see MTU get to the first one that spawns in here when it does, but both sides probably going to be prioritizing it given there is a lot of that CC potential from champions on both sides. So while we were discussing that, we saw a little bit of pressure in the bottom lane there from UNC onto MTU's turret. It's going to be dragging back after a little bit. Cage Feet really wanting Mordekaiser to go down here. Krispy Kreme going to come in for the gank, but he's going to be seen by the wards. Music tabs, is he going to be able to get out? Has Flash online, so he does have that in case he needs to. Trying to fall back into turret range, but recognizing how low he's gotten people in the top lane, he kind of wants to keep fighting it. Looks like some mid lane, bot lane pressure also coming in here. Keep an eye on that flash up there from music tabs. It's gonna, if you see that disappear, you're gonna know that pressure in that top lane is really gonna be getting to him. Doesn't look like it though. Looking at the main map, looks like they've split up and gone their separate ways, returning to their separate towers at this time. So fight not really netting any results for either sides. We're going to see still a 2v2 in the bottom lane here. We're going to see Mordekaiser channeling back to home base, potentially spend a little bit of that gold. The Gold League is pretty much neck and neck right now. Both teams at 25k pretty much. Despite that, still that 1 kill advantage for the Michigan Tech, but a pretty even game up until this point. Any advantages or disadvantages you've noticed for either side?
Yeah, right now Michigan Tech is low-key on the disadvantage right now on the Rift Herald, and that's going to probably sway with the feats. Right now, Michigan Tech's got 2
that's a big team
objectives,
fight.
and that's a huge
Music
team fight.
tab, slang coffee is my life. We're going to see
Casante going all out.
trying to get out. Blue team has
Blue team
defeated
takes
the
it
Rift
and
Herald.
got it
So
instead.
Michigan Tech actually on the front foot.
And that's feats of
big.
That's feats of warfare for Michigan Tech because they did get those first 3 kills, and they have gotten 3 objectives now: 3 Void Grubs, first Drake, and just now the Rift Herald. So they have now that boots advantage.
Yeah, that boost advantage. So remind me again, those boots can let you buy into boots that'll give you better buffs and better movement speed, stuff like that.
Yeah, so the boots that Caitlyn's going to have are not the same as the boots that Lucian's going to have. Lucian's going to have a lot more attack speed and movement speed with that buff.
Movement speed is especially going to be important when it comes to getting in there, since he doesn't have as much range. While we were talking here, we did see that first turret go the way of UNC, but it's going to be quickly answered by MTU. That mid lane turret going to be going down. I believe it was the bottom, or the tier 1 bottom lane turret that was destroyed for UNC.
And if you look at the scoreboard right now, Lucian has about 1,000 gold lead on Caitlyn right now. And Lucian has spent, actually, all of his gold compared to Caitlyn sitting on 500 gold right now. So Lucian has 6,400 gold in total, and Caitlyn has 5,383 gold.
Yeah, building into a lot of, it's going to be easier to build into those items there. A big fight in the top lane here. Mordekaiser, he really wants Cage Feet to go down. That flash go, like you said, going to be used by music tabs. Cage Feet still has his up, and that...
Sunless getting caught out because Sunless was trying to keep that bot lane tower intact. Unfortunate that they were able to take it and then dive him.
Yeah, so a little bit of an overextension there, choosing to put his own life down instead of that of the turret, but...
Reset coming in, wave shoved in on top lane. Mordekaiser has a great reset. This is we're in a really great spot for Michigan Tech here. Although it is still an pretty much even game, the gold disparity is pretty spread out through.
Pretty spread out against the people on UNC there, except for that. Kind of the same for Michigan Tech, but like you said, Lucian does have that pretty big gold advantage when compared to his opponent in the same class.
Our Lucian's not looking in a great spot right now. He needs to respect the vision disparity.
Yeah. Good wards placed down for there, but we're seeing them gear up here. Both teams wanting this dragon.
This dragon's very important. Yeah. This will get them on the nice foot here.
Recognizing the importance of CC and stuns and all that stuff for each team. Each team wants to, make that a lot harder to capitalize on for their opponents. So we're seeing Michigan Tech not committing just yet. A little bit of poke, and this is going to be Craftinator dodging under the top lane. He's been immediately slain. Coffee is my life, and that is going to be a big kill for Michigan Tech.
They're split. They're split.
Yeah, they're split. Krispy Kreme and Zeka Wannabe completely isolated, and Krispy Kreme is just getting completely locked down by Sunless and the rest of the MTU team. And now this is Kagafeed getting forced off, channeling immediately back to home base, and it's going to be the dragon for Michigan Tech unless UNC has something to say about it, but they're not going to be able to do anything. They're just choosing to retreat to their base. And this is a big advantage for Michigan Tech here. Not losing a person in that team fight and getting the dragon. This isn't an even game anymore. This is starting to become a little bit one-sided unless we can see a response out from UNC. A 3-kill advantage as well as a 1.5k gold lead for MTU at this point.
This was a huge fight because not only did Michigan Tech get dragon, but if you notice in the mid lane, the waves were pushed in to underneath UNC's towers, so they lost also that wave's gold in XP. And they also had to use RE TP to push in this top wave. So now Michigan Tech has TP advantage, flash advantages, and also XP and gold advantage now, especially off that Baron fight, not Baron fight, Drake fight.
So when you're say pushing in waves, is that getting your minions to the base of the opponent's tower?
Yeah. No, it's like, so it's basically pushing those minions underneath their tower, and nobody's collecting them. So it's just
Yeah, there's
gold
lost
and
XP. It's
out
just
the
it's
window.
disappearing into the air. My tax dollars. But still a little bit of back and forth up here in the top lane between both of the top laners. 3 people grouping up here. Anakin has spawned bottom. I'm a little bit worried for Croning Craftinator here. It is a 2v3 in mid lane. Going to see not too much engagement though. Both
Early
teams
movement.
ooh. And there's that Baron, I believe?
Rift Herald. There's
Yeah,
that
the
Rift Herald.
Rift Herald that you were talking about. That's going to be another turret going down for the side of UNC. So Michigan
Botland's
Tech
got the early move.
showing it. I want to point out here, Michigan Tech has now reached a 2K gold lead when compared to UNC. So Michigan Tech looks like grouping up for a fight over Anakin here. We're going to be seeing, as you had
TP coming in from Mordekaiser into the bot lane.
Yeah,
Ari's
big
later than everyone else.
team
coming in.
fight.
She's gonna look for a flank on the ult. Charm onto Annie.
Oh, Sunless.
Annie is exploded.
Sunless is going to be taken down, as you had just mentioned, and we're going to be seeing UNC.
team fight.
Nobody quite low here. Music taps. I'm worried about MTU here. Nugtart's
Crayon's
completely
dead.
stuck.
Craftinator is getting
Yeah,
singled out.
He's
They're
getting
split.
singled out. Nug is stuck, and this is just a shut. It's going to be an ace for UNC and devastation for MTU. What was a 3-kill advantage has fallen into a 2-kill deficit in the span of, what was that, 20 seconds,
And
30
now
seconds?
They're in that gold deficit.
Yeah,
1.8 gold
just
deficit.
like that, and MTU unfortunately falling into their old ways there. Too focused on getting that Anakin and completely neglecting the stun coming in for Ari. That is unfortunate.
That is.
And now
was
a tower going
unfortunate.
down.
That was just an unfortunate play that happened, and UNC unfortunately caught Sunless out, but didn't look good there, and also the Otacon reduces armor.
Another turret, I just want to
Yeah.
point that out.
And UNC saw that Otacon shreds armor and magic resist, so
Yeah.
whoever's hitting it loses that, and they took advantage of doing more damage and took that damage. Now we got a full reset here. It's still a pretty even match.
Except for the gold lead, I'd say. UNC 3K gold lead,
Yeah.
coming off of what had happened with MTU there. That kill advantage still not changing. We still do have a 1 Drake advantage in the favor of MTU here. But MTU, they had, what I'll say is that they were in the advantage up until that team fight.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't complete and utter devastation in terms of how the rest of the game was going to play out for them, but it was throwing away pretty much the entirety of the lead that they had and then some.
Yeah.
And so they don't need a hero play per se. They don't need a miracle to happen or for them to get back on top of this game, but we need coordinated play. We need good decision making.
Are you trying to miss?
Ooh,
Caitlyn will come in, early barrier, great barrier.
Yeah, that was a good escape from Craftinator there, recognizing when he was in danger and being able to get out.
Well, now there's 2 ults missing, Ari and Caitlyn ult missing, so they have an ultimate advantage. They could look for a team fight here. Craftinator is basically almost full health again.
Yeah, he's really gotten that healing
They're taking
line.
an
We're
early
seeing-
channel back.
Yeah, 3 channels, you had said. And Michigan Tech also choosing to channel, recognizing that stall is going to come in from UNC and just deciding to go their own ways, maybe return to base, buy up a little bit of those items and stuff like that. Still about a 3K gold lead for UNC, so nothing has really changed that much when it comes to what's happening here with, what items are going to be able to be bought up. Just poking and partying right now. We're in the calm before the storm, because I have to imagine the next team fight that's going to be coming in is going to be pretty important. I think that if MTU wins this next team fight, they might need 1 more to go in for UNC, but if MTU loses this next team fight, it could potentially be problematic given how far of a deficit they are right now. Still at a 3K gold deficit.
I will say, for this next team fight, I want you guys to keep an eye out on Crayon. Her ultimate has a cleansing ability, so if that CC comes in, she can clear it, and also she has that heal advantage. Karma has heal coming off cooldown. Ariel coming in, they're trying to single out Sunless, flash out for Sunless. Sunless cut out and killed.
Yeah, Sunless cut out.
Huge ult from it. Bad ult from Hecarim coming in.
Yeah,
Krispy
MTU with
Kreme
the
is getting
break.
cut out on the back
Music
foot.
Tab's getting coffee of my
ult
life.
Onto
Krispy Kreme on a killing spree, though, but Kagafi getting caught out by Michigan Tech. It's a 2v4, however. This is or 3v4, excuse me. Krispy Kreme going to be brought down low. Oh,
they're not paying
Cran
attention to
trying
that Mordekaiser. That
escape.
Mordekaiser's got that aura going on.
So much damage.
Double.
Double kill for Mordekaiser.
Triple.
A triple triple kill coming in
And
from
a
Michigan Tech,
quadra
and
coming
a
in.
quadra, and what was devastation turning into absolute massacre for Michigan Tech, showing UNC that whatever you can do, we can do better. Michigan Tech
Huge.
immediately evening up the gold lead with that 1 kill advantage now, and UNC left reeling. What they thought was going to be an easy team fight on an MTU that had players isolated, on an MTU that they got that first kill against. They are completely shut down by the Mordekaiser. What a play for Michigan Tech. That was cinema to witness.
Yeah, that was a great play by Mordekaiser. They disrespected the fact that Mordekaiser was in that team fight and saw that his aura was there. And they disrespected the aura, and they got aura checked, basically.
Yeah, just an aura diff, one could say.
Yeah.
If you're tuned into that kind of stuff. And that, I was just impressed by that because I saw the 3 people alive for MTU and the 4 alive for UNC. I saw no low health bars on UNC, and I was worried. But just music tabs just showing up when the world needed him most to just rain down hellfire among the squad at UNC.
Yeah, but I would say Crayon actually made a huge difference there with that heal. That heal also made a huge difference. And also, her ult ability cleanses and heals. Oh, Crayon getting caught out. Flash coming in. Oh, and escapes.
Good
Huge
escape there.
Night.
Nug and Sunless being able to back him up. A big fight coming in from the bottom lane here. Kagafeet trying to punish Music Tabs out of his home territory. It's going to be a good pull. Kagafeet now trying to run away. Music Tabs with that shield or whatever that white thing is.
That's a shield, yeah.
That's a shield, yeah. And they're going to go their separate ways after each doing about a quarter damage to each other.
But man, that Casante is very tanky right now.
Yeah, he is.
But we
Not what
almost
you wanna
had
be
we
on
almost
an
had a
team.
big mistake going on in the top lane there. The Caitlyn ult was coming in, which is a big long-range sniper shot, and you can block it with the teammate. And Armelio was low, and it was aimed at the Emilio. And we were aiming at it, and we tried blocking it, and we almost missed the block. We missed the block, actually.
Yeah, that
And-
would have
But
been...
Armelio had the shield and was able to block it.
Yeah, luckily they're able to fight into that, so...
Now, if we did lose Emilio there, I think that was barren for them.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that we now have 2, I believe it's Chemtech Drakes?
Yeah, we have 2 Chemtech Drakes, and we are on Soul Point for the Soul of Chemtech, which gives increased resistance. And as you get lower in health if you have Chemtech Soul, you take decreased damage and you do increased damage. It's about 13% increased damage if you have that Soul
Yeah,
below 40% health.
That Chemtech Drake, I think, making a big difference in that last team fight we saw with MTU coming out on top there. A lot of those CC abilities, a lot of those stuns coming in from the side of UNC, and Michigan Tech just able to escape those earlier than the stuns that they're throwing out towards their opponents there. And we saw how grouped up they were, and I think that had we not had that Chemtech advantage, that fight probably would have gone the other way, because Michigan Tech, when we were in that 3v4, we were kind of had 3 people surrounded by the 4 members of UNC, but just being able to get out of those routes, being able to get out of those knockups like a lot earlier than UNC is going to be able to, gives us that mobility to be able to reposition. And we saw that huge isolating a 2v2 where we could do 1 2v3 and then another 2v3.
But UNC's problem right now, they see that Sunless is weak and they're able to catch him out. But the fact that they're using multiple CC abilities to take out Sunless, well, that makes it so Craftinator doesn't get CC'd by them. That makes Music Tabs not get CC'd. It's just a big difference. And that's probably why they lost that one Drake fight, is because they used all that utility on
Yeah,
Annie.
decently big fight coming
Charm
in
coming in,
here.
huge
We're
charm.
Seeing 4 from each
Catching him out.
side.
Ariel
Nugcart
coming in, Lucian ult,
chasing
cancel.
Wannabe, but we're going to see all 5 members of UNC regrouping, 4 together and 1 up top as Michigan. They decide to go their separate ways. Michigan Tech not wanting to engage in that fight without all of their members being there immediately. Now regrouping towards the lower jungle on the red team side with the other ones up there. It looks like Michigan Tech is
Wants his blue
fighting.
buff.
Yeah, they're fighting into UNC territory here. They want to get this blue buff. It looks like Krispy Kreme and Kagafeet going to push them away
And
for
they
now.
get the blue buff. Michigan
Yeah.
Tech gets that blue buff.
Yeah, so mission accomplished. Looks like is that a Chemtech Drake about
That is-
to
yep, this is Soul
spawn
Point.
in?
This is very important. I want you to keep a lookout for Annie ult here. Annie's has that teddy bear ready. And there it is.
Yeah, there it is, just
in that full
instantly
combo.
taken down. John reading the game there just pretty much immediately, and that's going to be an instant 4v5 for UNC, and we're
that's
going to get
Soul.
Soul. And this is Sunless calling upon the power of Faker with that T1 emote. You sure gotta feel like it right now. That ult was
That was
pretty
good.
impressive to watch. That was a
catching
good
that Caitlyn
fight.
out. That Caitlyn was already separated from the team, already coming from base, and we took advantage of the vision not being in that specific bush and bursted her 100-0.
Yeah, just completely locked down, just unable to move, unable
This
to do
will be a
anything.
Baron secure. They
For
can
MTU?
UNC can contest this, but they should not contest it because this will be game end if they do.
Yeah, it's a 5v3, and now we have Baron, so
Ari is pushing the bot lane right now. She should get tier 2 bot lane tower by the time, yep, that's 700 gold into her bank account.
yeah, so
But
that will
that's
be that
top tower.
turret going down. but
Hecarim ult coming in.
Ooh,
And he's on all cooldown. She will not
yes.
survive this one. But, all coming off cooldown. Malignant's doing the trick.
Yeah, but
Unstoppable and the buffer of the stun.
yeah, she's just
Well
completely
played.
unable to escape there. Doesn't have that flash to be able to get out. Just ISO, a good gank coming in from UNC there. Just
Yeah.
showing that, you know, they're still on top of those 1v2 team fights, not letting MTU walk away from that. MTU with about a 500 gold lead now, and so
Looks like
finally managing to recover that advantage.
Cassante TP into the bot lane. Looks like they're looking for a bot lane presence. All lanes are pushed underneath onto MTU side. So Baron buff is not really going to be a good use here. They got about a minute left to use it.
What'll happen after that minute?
It goes away, and they're going to have to wait for another Baron to come around to get that buff again.
So you think they're going to be looking for an opportunity to make use of that?
I'm thinking our Mordekaiser or Lucian here are going to stick to a side lane, push that lane out, get some lane prio. Like Nugtar here is pushing the lane out so they get some prio. Maybe look for a fight here, but this Elder Drake is very important. That Drake, so this next Drake has a thing called an execute, and it will below, I think, 10% health will kill them instantly instead of having them to get to 0% health.
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of those escapes on 1 HP so far, so Michigan Tech and UNC both going to be heavily contesting that.
Using this last of their Baron buff to get this tier 2 mid tower. Watching out for the Karma and Cassante and
a lot
Hecarim
coming up.
flank.
4 coming up from UNC here. Krispy Kreme and Coffee's been life diving in. Going to be retreating after a little bit.
Early anti-ult use.
Yeah, Michigan Tech unable to take the tower down up until this point. Krispy Kreme going to be airborne, knocked back. All 5 people here from UNC.
Ari's going to push them back.
Fighting,
She does
and that's
have
gonna
ult
be,
available.
Yeah, that is going to be MTU backing off. Good damage on the tower, but that was not their objective. The
They
objective
still
was
have a
to
little bit of
lead
Baron
to the
buff
tower.
left, but they need to be careful that this Ari doesn't come behind and CC. Crafting at half HP. No anti-ult quite yet. Ari has ult.
There's
She's gonna
Ari.
look- Ari charm on
charming
on
Nug. Ooh.
That's not the best character selection to do it on, but it's still damage nevertheless.
Yeah, that Chemtech Drake coming in handy there. You saw how quickly that charm disappeared.
Yeah.
We're going to see just some more poking and prodding. An interesting fight here in the top lane. Mordekaiser
Huge
trying to go
poke.
up for this
Mordekaiser can take
tower.
this damage.
Kagafi going to be brought down to half HP. Mordekaiser going to retreat slightly. But showing MTU's interest in getting that top lane turret destroyed sooner rather than later. See just a little bit more farming coming in for UNC here. Michigan Tech almost extending the gold lead to about 1,000 at this point, just under. So maybe we'll see that 1,000 gold lead come up at some point here. Kagafi just gonna farm a couple minions in that top lane as things kind of fall into a lull as we just return to our farming state before we can go for what could potentially be the game-deciding team fight around that Elder Drake.
Right now, fighting is the last thing both teams want to do no matter what. If they can catch one out, sure, that's fine. But a team fight is not beneficial to either of them because there's no objectives to fight for here. They got a minute 40, 2 minutes plus on this Baron. So if they fight and they win, all they can do is really push lanes here. So farming, getting gold. This Caitlyn and Lucian need to get to level 16 to get that last point in the ultimate, so they are at their strongest with their ultimates.
Yeah. So you're gonna see right here, you got it's like Ari and one other doing a little bit of farming. One gonna be channeling back to base. A lot of teams just grouped up around this middle to bottom section here. Looks like we got 3 on each side. We're following with the camera right now.
Everybody has TP up, so Cassante and Ari are going to be sticking on some side lanes right now, and they'll probably TP in on these fights for these big fights here.
Yeah.
and so does Michigan Tech. Every summoner spell is up for both teams. So when we see a team fight coming up here, this is going to be a big one.
Yeah, this is I used the phrase earlier, but this is probably the true calm before the storm here.
Yeah.
With the potentially game-deciding team fight brewing on the horizon.
Craftinator on vision.
Yeah, this
Sun
is
on-
Sunless attacking copy of my
Redemption
life
coming
brought down
in.
to 4
Krispy
ticks.
Kreme getting caught out.
Yeah,
Miss
this
Charm
is.
on Ari.
Ooh, Michigan Tech had a slight advantage on that fight, but wait, 2 people going in on Dumpling here. Dumpling overextending
dead.
himself. It's
TP coming down bot lane from Mordekaiser. 43 seconds
yeah.
for Elder Dragon. So they Karma's down for 34, so she'll be up for this fight. But
just barely.
no, actually, no, she won't be up.
No, yeah, wait, it
The
spawns in right
dragon's
here,
out.
and this is
It looked like
this is
43.
UNC trying to probe into that Elder Dragon, but we have Cran, Music Labs, and Sunless all keeping them at bay, while Craftinator in the last completely DPS down this Elder Dragon.
Yeah.
A turret also going to go down for UNC during this time, and this is UNC wondering how the hell did we
Oh,
get
no,
ourselves into this
this
position.
could
Is he
look
going to
like
get
a-
stolen?
No, it
Michigan Tech
doesn't.
is
It's
going
not.
to take the Elder Drake, but a massive unit coming in here. A shutdown from Caitlyn coming in. Krispy Kreme
Kage feet
going to
coming
be
down.
putting in. Zeka Wannabe slaying Cran, Craftinator going to be
Whoa.
trying to follow up. Nugtart and Krispy Kreme in a
Huge charm
crucial
coming in
1v1.
from Ari.
Oh,
Nugtart needs to
Nugtart
get
managed
out.
to escape out the side, but it's a triple kill for Caitlyn. So Michigan Tech on the back foot in terms of their respawns, just Nug up
That's Baron
ahead.
gone. That's Baron gone.
But yeah, Michigan Tech with the Drake. Michigan Tech has Elder Drake, only 1 on cooldown for UNC, so we do have a 1v4 in terms of the people alive.
Baron
UNC
coming in.
going to get Baron as a compensation prize. Was getting Elder buff worth it there for Michigan Tech if they lose 4 in the process?
It was worth it, but the problem is the way they went about it was not. They didn't fight for that bush. You know the bush that Annie killed that Caitlyn on in that last Drake fight?
Yeah.
They didn't fight for that, and it was able for Hecarim to come around and ult in and get a free, unstoppable push into that Dragon Pit. Even though they got that, Michigan Tech got that Dragon, Hecarim was able to fear everyone, and they were able to come in and fight and basically wipe the entire team out.
Yeah, so the gold lead going to be taken by UNC here now, with a little bit over 1,000 in the head. So Michigan Tech going to be put on the back foot a little bit there. The kill lead also now favoring UNC by 1. We're just going to have to hope that the Drake advantage for MTU can make up for what's going on here.
Now, if you look at the gold right now, Lucian is down about 1,000 gold on Caitlyn, which is not the best, but Hecarim being up about 800 gold on Jarvan right now is not the best. But the huge gold lead on Mordekaiser to Cassante is huge. So Michigan Tech needs to look to end this game soon before this Cassante gets his full tankiness.
Yeah, all 5 of MTU grouping up right here. Krang going to be popping that heal, getting their health back up, and that's going to be 4 from UNC, with the last in the bottom lane potentially coming to assist here. Michigan Tech looks like they want to pressure a fight. They're poking and prodding.
Nugtart does have his Elder buff, so even though all the team doesn't, they still have that execute, and Nugtart will just get the kill. He just has to hit them.
Yeah. So a little bit more poking and prodding here around mid lane. This is potentially could be the game deciding fight coming out here. We're going to be seeing.
Looking for a tower dive.
Yeah, this is going to be UNC. They
just
want
need to clear
that
the wave-
tower
clearing the wave
down, a
with the ult,
Craftinator with the
huge.
ult, but the shield's coming in for UNC, going to not really let that ult find a lot of value, unfortunately.
That I tend to disagree. That ult is actually pretty big. It clears that cannon minion away.
Oh, that's
so
true.
they
I didn't
cannot
see the minion there.
push that wave in. And now UNC is looking to fight and try to hit an out in charm, maybe. But this is huge for Michigan Tech. They're wasting their Baron buff trying to shove it in mid lane when they could be shoving out sides and getting more prio, and it could possibly push in mid lane even harder than they would have to.
Yeah, Michigan Tech just doing a great job right now of stalling out UNC around this middle tower. All 5 up here.
Craftinator gets
Craftinator,
exploded
a
by the
little bit.
headshot on the from the Caitlyn.
Yeah, a little bit low, but gonna get that shield and that heal up coming in there from Cran.
Even barriers for both ADCs, but Caitlyn and Lucian will have flash up in the next team fight. Caitlyn will have flash up earlier, so they have to keep in mind of that.
Yeah, 2 channeling here back from MTU, going back to the base. Gold lead under 1,000 now for UNC, so Michigan Tech fighting back a little bit, getting a couple hundred out of that in terms of the overall standings. A little bit more pressure here from 3 in the mid lane. Dumpling, Coffee, and Cage, all from UNC. But we've kind of
Caitlyn all
fallen into
coming
that
in.
lull again.
Now we're not really looking at gold lead. It's more of who's better. This is now becoming mechanics and who has the better macro and who's able to play the long game and not try to look for these short picks.
Yeah. Well, both teams have built into those items that they're going to want to go in for. So Cage and Zeka both pressuring a little bit of MTU's top lane there, but it's going to be held back by the Mordekaiser. So not the worst thing in the world. A little bit more farming being done here. That middle tier turret for MTU dangerously low.
That is huge. There was no turrets taken from that Baron buff.
Mm-hmm.
Huge waste.
Yeah, so Michigan Tech, just like I said earlier, doing a great job of stalling out UNC there, just unable to break through. Was a little bit worried when they were really putting a lot of that pressure on middle there, but
4 people mid lane, Hecarim in the river. They see him on vision. They're probably trying to look to punish.
yeah,
1
Sunless
minute on
gets
the Elder.
hit. This is going to be... Ooh, they're just... I think they're both waiting for that Drake to spawn. They
Yeah.
want to go for a big fight when this Drake comes in. 3 now from UNC, sticking in middle or bottom river.
Raph is pushing mid lane, which is huge. Caitlyn and Cassandra are mid, so if they wanted to collapse on to the river, they would get pinched, and that would not be good. So they need to play the slow game and wait for them to collide, and then they can take them out.
Yeah, all 5 from each team grouped up here.
Vision advantage in that bush. They now have even advantage. Oracle Lens coming in, taking care of that bush.
Yeah, no more vision there.
And UNC has the advantage.
Mordekaiser hit on Cage feet, but they're just who's gonna break first? Who's gonna go in first?
It's gonna have to be Michigan Tech. Michigan Tech's gonna have to move first.
Oh, a
Huge
massive shot on
headshot
Sunless.
on Sunless. Sunless
That-
is going to have to base and TP in. Now this is gonna be very sketchy because the TP is probably gonna have to come into the Drake pit.
Yeah, this is. Drake's
Oh,
gonna be
TP onto the tier 2 tower. That's gonna be coming in late.
Okay, we're going to be seeing not that much damage on the.
They started the Elder Drake. The
yet.
Elder is focused onto UNC, so they will have an extra damage dealer. Sunless, huge Zanya's coming
Yeah,
in.
that's big. And Krispy Kreme
Stun-
getting
oh.
iced out up there, but Zeka Wannabe is slain. Sunless, that's not going to be good. Craftinator, whoever, firing back,
Craftinator's
slaying
good, just a
Dumpling.
huge-
A big ult coming out there, but Caitlyn gets the double kill. Michigan Tech now down by 1 in this fight. And Caitlyn is shutting down Michigan Tech. Music Tabs and Craftinator, the last 2 standing here. Zeka Wannabe low, but what's going to come of it? Craftinator's going to slay Krispy Kreme, but it's a 3v2. 1. He has to run. Craftinator has to get out of here.
No.
He's stalled by the minions. Oh, this is rough. 30 seconds until somebody from MTU comes on back online.
In a
And
dead.
it's going to be a death. That's going to be a full
That's gonna be
team wipe
That's going to
coming
be
out.
Elder, but
This is rough for Michigan Tech. What are they going to be able to fight back into? I am worried about the state of this. That's going to be the easy Drake taken down here for UNC, as all of Michigan Tech can do nothing but wait and stare as their timer ticks down before they'll have what is most likely going to be one last shot, one last fight at this game.
yeah, but unfortunately they have Elder, and it's on Caitlyn nevertheless. So Caitlyn's got that execute, and she's very strong. Nobody's really building resistances other than Mordekaiser kind of. But even then, Caitlyn's got Lord Dominic's, and that's a huge armor penetration item, and it's gonna do a lot of damage. And Caitlyn's got Guardian Angel, which is extra. If she hits her health bar hit 0, she has a resurrection.
Yeah,
to
and
help
able to
help
come
out.
back online. So a lot of very scary buffs stacked all on one person at this point. So Michigan Tech's either going to have to deal with her quick or try to avoid, but that's going to be hard if a team fight comes in. So
They're gonna have to respect them taking this Baron, or they're gonna have to single out Caitlyn and just hope they don't get killed instantly.
yeah,
All they have to do is just hold off, drag, hold off this Baron, and hope that they don't push into the lanes fast enough. They do have all 3 of their inhib turrets and inhibitors up, so they will be able to at least have that buffer.
yeah, still have that stall back at base, but
Got about a minute and a half for this Elder buff to be up. Ari's making this intro. Huge shield on from the Karma shield.
Kagafi jumps back. not wanting to overcommit there. Perhaps learning from one of those last games. A big shot onto
from
Craftinator.
But
That's gonna
healed
be
fully back up from
yeah. Zeka
Emilio's
Wannabe
puddle.
though, just so much damage coming in here. It's gonna. Oh.
They're hitting the Baron. Baron's going down now.
Yeah,
They
Zeka,
have vision on the.
all 5
If
MTU
they
coming
walk
in
in
here.
that trap, one of them is gonna get exploded.
Yeah, this is
Falling off.
Ooh,
Baron reset.
Krispy Kreme really wanting to go in there. Perhaps an
Huge
overextension
ult by
with the rest of
Crayon.
the team coming in to follow up. It's going to be a 4v5 here now at the bottom. 5v5 now. Crayon's still gonna be half
Mordekaiser
HP.
in ult with Kagafi.
Oh, is he going to be able to hit
No,
him?
and
Craftinator
Caitlyn is
manages
out.
to take it out.
Caitlyn's out.
Zeka Wannabe is, however, going to be on a
Oh, and
rampage.
Oh my God,
A
Caitlyn's going
double
off.
kill. This is, the double kill
And
for Caitlyn as well. Music
triple
tabs brought down to half HP.
And Quadra.
That's going to be a penta.
No,
That-
that's not gonna be a Penta.
Are they not all,
But
not all dead?
they have no wave to play with. They have 50 seconds. This is actually going to be, unfortunately, actually, wave is all the way by their tier 2 in turret. I think they will have one more fight here.
One more fight?
One more fight.
Even
They
after
don't
that
have
botch?
they don't have Baron buff. If they wanted to end, they needed Kate to they needed Hecarim to tank and Caitlyn just hit the turret. They won't have enough time. I think they're realizing that and they're going for Baron right now.
Yeah, opting to get that online instead of what is potentially the risky but perhaps game-winning play of going back for that
Caitlyn's
turret.
gonna get this inhib and then fall back and get this Baron with them.
Yeah, so
Unfortunate play from Nugtart. Nugtart ulted, tried to ult Caitlyn, got that initial damage, but Caitlyn has a thing where she can fall back through walls,
yeah.
hit him, hit a full combo, and that's unfortunately like a good 3,000 damage combo if you hit it correctly.
Yeah, so just
And plus the Elder buff, and you're not gonna be able to.
yeah, there's not you're not going to be able to survive that or at least
Reset
do what
Baron
you wanted
buff.
to. Down
2
there,
minutes,
so
2+ minutes till Elder.
looking pretty rough, but still that almost 10k gold lead here for UNC. Not mattering as much, however, though, considering that most of those items we've wanted are already bought up. It's probably just going to come down to this one last team fight for both sides. So
This is honestly a nail biter. If they outplay this, and right now it doesn't look like they're using their Baron buff to their full capabilities. I think if we can win a team fight, I just need Sunless here to get this Caitlyn's Guardian Angel proc gone.
yeah,
Once that's gone, they could see the living hell out of her.
yeah,
and
just be able to completely
it'll
lock
be
her down.
good.
But we need to get that out before that happens. So Michigan Tech doing a great job of stalling right now, getting that Baron buff out of the way for UNC, not letting them get too close to some of the turrets. They are going to be going for that, what is that, the tier 3 turret for the top lane?
Huge clear on the wave.
Yeah, so
have no
Caitlyn is
wave.
going to be taking that down, but still some pretty good stall coming out of them. Not the
Super
worst
minions
case in the
coming in
world.
from the inhibitor break. Sadly, that Karma Shield is huge. No flash for Caitlyn, so if they need to, they can dive Caitlyn here. Flash on everyone on MTU except for Crayon.
It's a 5v5, Michigan Tech deciding whether or not they want to go in.
Baron buff is gone in like 30 seconds here, max.
Yeah, this is going to be a interesting fight. Looks like for right now, UNC just opting to back off a little bit, potentially reset, regroup, go for the next.
They're pushing out bot lane here.
Fight.
They want to
Yeah.
get another turret inhib because they realize
with
they
that
can't
Baron
end
buff.
here.
So, all of MQ coming to defend. So
This is looking a little rough, but there is still really good hope here. This Caitlyn is starting to get a little cocky on her damage.
yeah, that could potentially come back and bite her if she overextends too much. But Krang gonna be channeling back to base a little bit here, going to.
All right, this Elder is the last fight. I know if this fight does not go according to plan, this will be the end. But no flash for Caitlyn.
Yeah, one up
And
for Cage.
Caitlyn is
Dumpling's
away from the
recharging
fight, so-
right now. So it's going to be a interesting. I think MTU knows this. They're all sticking together, not opting to overextend anywhere. They know that they have to win this next team fight, or the game is probably over for them.
I need Sunless to come in clutch here with the full combo. which will do a lot of damage. They don't have that bush prio.
Yeah, it's a good.
They need to put a ward in there.
Slightly
They got a
isolated
ward in there.
Kagafi.
They got the thing.
Managing
Good
to
poke
get
on. Redemption coming
back.
in from UNC too early.
Ooh, Kagafi.
Cassante
Oh, Nuxhard
Cassante-
isolated though. But
No.
Michigan Tech, they're kind of caught
They
in the middle.
they got
Drop in
Karma.
or
The Karma
dumpling.
shield. They popped the GAs. GAs is out.
Yes, she's
Lucian
resurrecting
shut
right now. It's
down.
going to be a shutdown.
A
coming
huge
from
kill
Mordekaiser.
on Caitlyn.
But yeah, but Caitlin's going to be going down, and Kagafi trying to run. He's going to have to run away, but Michigan Tech is going to be getting the Drake buff, and this is going to be huge for them. 3 people currently down for UNC.
And 4. Count that 4.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Dang,
That
and
is a
just
huge pick.
completely on them. Every single person from MTU surviving, and they're all going to be channeling back to base, going for that reset. This could potentially be the game here if they're able to get up in time.
What a huge blunder from that Cassante.
Yeah,
that
that-
Cassante took Nugtard away, which was probably meant for the Lucian, but unfortunately it wasn't. So they were able to push back to front, kill Karma first. Karma still has all of her summoners up, so she has her flash and her heal, and she's wasn't able to use it. And then they got Caitlyn's GAs out, and they were able to kill Hecarim, so he couldn't even do anything about the objective.
Yes, and this is going to be Michigan Tech now. Looks like going towards the nexus of UNC, fighting into their
Nugtard.
base. Nugtard extending onto that inhibitor. The entirety of MTU going onto that tower, waiting for that inhibitor to be able to be destroyed. They're going to be ganking on to that inhibitor now, and there's still a respawn on the board for UNC. One of them is still not back for 15 seconds. They have a 5v4 team fight right here. It's going to be, that's what they're going for. Nugtard's going to be brought down a little bit low, but one of those towers is going to be going down to red turret destroyed, and UNC, They can potentially see the end coming here. It's going to be a respawn for Zeka Wannabe. So a straight 5v5 on the field here. Minion's coming out for UNC. But we're going to be Dumpling brought down a little bit low. Nobody on MTU in a particularly different... And
Huge
Huge
XQ.
Coffee is my life. That is now going to be a 5v4. What's it? A 5v3 as Craftinator is rampaging. A red turret is taken down.
Double.
Going to be taken. And a
Triple.
double. It is one stance, and that is going to be the nexus taken down for UNC as the hopes and dreams of winning this game are brought down and completely shattered. I was worried for MTU. I had my doubts, but they proved in that final moment they can take control of those team fights and take the victory 2-1. What a game.
I knew it. Sunless was going to come in clutch there. That was huge. That singling out that Caitlyn every time in that team fight.
Every
was
time.
The best thing that could have happened.
That was just a great play. I am just, like I said, I was worried for MTU. Those team fights up until that last one weren't exactly going their way, but they prove in that last fight why they are able to fight together as a team. They capitalize on that advantage, and honestly, a blunder coming out from UNC not being able to back off of that Drake fight in time. I think that's where this really sold the game for me. They have 4 people that are on respawn cooldowns. MTU has time to go back to their base, get full health, full mana back online, and then steamroll their way and start destroying inhibitors in the red base before UNC even has all of their respawns online. And at that point, for UNC to be able to do efficient damage and pull MTU off those inhibitors, they have to give up more lives of their own. So there's only a 5-second window, I believe, in the last minute of that game where UNC had all of their players on the field. MTU just steamrolling them right there at the end.
Yeah, that's a very deserved win from MTU there. They just showed their grit and integrity and fought through that adversity, especially fighting a Caitlyn that is so fed.
We saw that damage coming out for some of her shots. Just 2/3 of the health bar gone in a snap.
And to be able to collect their mind and be like, even though she's doing all this damage, we're gonna have to single her out. And it was huge. They deserved that win. That was amazing.
That was wonderful. So now that game's over, we'd just like to go over really quickly our schedule for our upcoming events right here. So we can see that Michigan Tech, we have continued our win streak. We're with a 1-2 against UNC. On Tuesday at 7 p.m., we'd love if you joined us for our Rocket League game against UST. And on Wednesday, we will be having another 7 p.m. game that we'd love to have you for as our Overwatch 2 team takes on KSU. That's certainly going to be a good game. Overwatch has been playing extremely great recently.
Yeah.
So after that, we're going to go to a quick intermission here while we potentially get a player interview, or I'm seeing no player interview. So in that case, I believe we are good to wrap this up. Just one last time, thank you to all of our sponsors for making everything that you see around us here possible. Thank you to Pepsi, thank you to Houghton for Rent, and thank you to University Images. So be sure to stay up to date on MTU Esports by liking and subscribing to follow along with the Huskies. You can find us on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and wherever else we post our content. We'd love to have you there. We'd love to have you talk about what your favorite part of the game was. And honestly, while we're at that, why don't you drop us a comment, whether it be on YouTube or on Twitter, about who you thought today's MVP was in our game. Personally, I'm going to have to go for Nug. I think Craftinator would have taken it if it wasn't for that Game 2 performance. Getting shut down a little bit, but I think that Nug's ability, especially in that last game, just a consistent Baron and staying alive on that one botch team fight for just a couple extra seconds, a little bit of that distraction that lets MTU get back on their feet. What about you? Who's your MVP?
I have to say, in my opinion, I'm a support lover, so I think Crayon has to be my MVP. The nullification of all these CC on Craftinator made him make those plays.
That's true.
Especially the heals, the shielding. It's just none of the plays could have happened without those like life-saving utilities. So I got to give it to Crayon.
Yeah, well, the fact that we have different MVPs is just a testament to how good this MTU League team is and how strong they take out together as a team. So thank you again to all of our partners for supporting MTU Esports, and thanks to all of you lovely people who tuned in at least for part of the stream and are now here with us at the end. I've been Aiden Skronsky.
I'm John Jernigan.
And have a great night, y'all.